Up at night, yeah. Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. What keeps you up at night, yeah. Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. Yeah, I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong. You got me like, oh yeah. I think that we've all had enough. They know that we're calling it wrong. Hey, it's too late to try to go contain it. A generation fueled by creation. We live lives on a small screen nation. We control the airwaves, no negotiation. I refuse to think we need saving. Something good will come from creation. And when we think that the world is too anxious, we'll adapt, evolve, survive, and save it. What keeps you up at night, yeah. Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. What keeps you up at night, yeah. Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. Yeah, I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong. You got me like, oh yeah. I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong.
Nobody is coming to save you. Get up. Be your own hero.
All right. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Sovereign Soul, Unchained Mind. It's good to see everybody here tonight. We've got a few people already in the chat and looking all around down here. What do we got? Let's see who we can find. I never did change this over. I was getting into the habit of putting it over into live chat so that I get everything. I don't even know why they have two different things. It's stupid. Anyway, over on Sovereign Souls channel, we have Anson Howard. We got Chilling, Don, Dream You In, Escape the Chains, Phoenix Nemesis 138, Push Button 62, Saddle Bum is with us. Good to see all you people. Shifty Eyes Shady, that yellow spider guy. On it, Indoctrinated, and Jehovah's Daughter Barbara. Somebody else jumped in. Don, Chilling. Who was it? Somebody. And then over on my other channel, what do we got here? Oh, we got Eric the Viking and Jehovah's Daughter Barbara. Jehovah's Daughter Barbara is on both channels tonight. What's going on here? We have to do something here. We have to... Oh, you know what I got to do first? Watch here. Dun, 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 dun. So if I switch over like that, and then I go like that, then I can go like that. And I can say, da, 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 da. There, that'll fix things, Barbara. That'll fix things for you over on the backup channel. And then, of course, over here, let's see who I've got over in the live chat. Only two people watching on Rumble right now, but that's okay. We've got that as our go-to place that we can have. And what a wonderful thing that is, right? All right. So, fake space and crack pipes, man. Because you got to be smoking some crack if you're believing this shit at this day and age. First thing people have to understand right off is, if space can be faked, how do you know that it's not? Especially when we point out the impossibilities of such a preposterous idea as having something as ridiculous as a vacuum, which does not exist anywhere in nature at all, cannot exist without some kind of containment in order to hold it, in order to have a vacuum. And then even still, you don't have a complete vacuum because there's something there, even in the absence of nothing. So I don't know. If you're still believing that shit, I don't know what to tell you, because they slipped the basics by you without you even noticing. They did this when they told you the distance to the sun. They did this when they told you they could send up shit up into space because gravity somehow magically affects gases, causes them to compress, causes them to stick against extreme pressure differentials like that. How in the hell, how are you going to do that? You can't even demonstrate a slight pressure differential. Open a soda. Why didn't the gravity hold the gas into the can? If gravity holds gas, then that shouldn't escape out of the can, right? But it does, because the tendency for gas to equalize gives fuck all about your gravity, even if it did exist. You can't show me gas with a downward acceleration. I mean, it's all dependent, temperature, the type of gases that it is. I mean, even with our air, can you show a downward acceleration like you say you will with heavier than air objects? No, of course you can't. This is why it's a joke. Exactly right. Sob Soul, president of the Methadone Club. Yes. Yes, indeed. That's something I never had a desire to get myself into whatsoever. And I see so many people end up getting into it. It's sort of like with this meth. I see people with this meth. For years, I've seen the results of using methamphetamines on people. And never once has the behavior or what it's done with these people in any way inspired me into going, you know what? That sounds like a drug for me. That's what I'm going to have right there. Some of that. That just sounds like some dandy shit to me. Sorry, I can't do it. Sorry, I just can't. And I can't understand anybody in this day and age that would say, hey, that sounds like a good idea to me. Because after all, everyone that I've seen that uses this is so highly successful and so not crazy. Wow. I just don't understand. Look at all the people we got going in here right now. 51 altogether, for sure. So just a kind of a side note, I watched a thing here earlier today. There was this kid, I think in Florida. He was an immigrant. He'd already applied for his citizenship and everything. Didn't speak much English, if any. And this cop stopped him because he was standing outside this hotel. Cop stopped him, started hassling him, ended up with, just for no reason, escalating the situation to a point where they had this kid on the ground and they were tasing him and handcuffing him and everything else like that. And there was no reason for him to be doing this at all. But they found it necessary. Well, the cop died shortly after from a heart attack. And they're charging this kid with manslaughter, saying that he's responsible for it. But we already know it was probably responsible for it. And I am looking at it like this. That cop died as a result of instant karma. That's what that was. That was instant karma. Okay. If only it would happen that way so more often. Because a lot of times I see people that just do the evilest fucking shit for no reason whatsoever. And you think, when are they going to get theirs? And boy, when they do, I love it. I just love it. And so, hey, sorry that guy had to die, but you know, that ain't the first time he's done that. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. That's to just kind of exemplify. Now, here's something you want to keep into mind if you're ever doing this. Okay, you always want to include curvature in your calculations. Okay, the Earth curvature, and of course, as we all know, that is 7.9 inches per mile squared. And so you always want to take that into consideration when you're doing your own experimentation or even launching your own space program. Or even if your internet sucks. God damn. I think they missed. Yeah, they missed. Let's see that again. Yeah, they obviously didn't calculate curvature. This guy's all done. Supposed to land into that tarp, and see, they didn't account for curvature. Too bad. Maybe if they had masturbated just a little bit harder, they could have figured that out. But apparently they didn't. They didn't adjust for curvature, and of course that was the end result. And of course, as Dreamy and I pointed out the other night, this is Caleb pointed this out too. There's no curvature, or there's no North Pole anymore. I don't know why there's no North Pole. Where the fuck is Santa at then? Where's his home base at now?
I'm not
Greenland?
trying to come off like one of those crazy conspiracy theorists, but if the North Pole looks like this, what were our ancestors on? Like, how did they, like, over and over again? This wasn't just one. Like, they kept drawing these 4 continents with 4 rivers. Like, maybe something to think about.
So that's something I've noted on my Mercator map. I have one right here on the North Pole. Several maps, even the 1587 Urbano Monte map that we've shown on here before, shows 4 little continents, 4 things in the middle right there where the Arctic, where the North Pole is supposed to be at. And now, when I was a kid, they used to have just like a little ice cap there. They said there was an ice cap at the north. And now there's nothing. Now there's not even. I guess that's probably because of, I guess, global warming. We're not eating enough bugs. And so now Santa Claus has nowhere to land his fucking sleigh. It's your fault. All you women with your Aquanet and you're spraying your ozone depleting materials and all that. Okay. I don't even want to hear it when you don't get anything for Christmas this year. Okay. Just don't even want to hear it. Okay. Yeah. So I was into some interesting conversations on the TwitFace app today regarding gravity, and boy, oh boy, oh boy, they're really scraping the bottom of the barrel these days. It's getting to a point where it's just like, this is the best you got. Once in a while, they'll call in McToon, and he gets shut down really quickly. He's not even giving it a try anymore. I think more and more people are coming on to the idea of realizing what they're there, why they're there, and how they got there. As we were pointing out my theory, and I don't know, just saying, get a little bit of a Chomo vibe from a few of those guys. You know what I'm saying? What kind of trouble did you get into that you have to do this shit for? Let's get real. And then we were talking to these people. This is one of the biggest things. They said there's so many people involved. How could you hide it from so many people? Right? Look, man, these people at NASA, they sit there. What's this guy's job? His job is to look at this fucking computer screen and make sure that whatever's on there stays within certain parameters. right? That's all he does. He's not up in space. He's not in the spaceship. He's not even talking to the fucking astronauts, right? He's just there looking at a computer screen. There's 15 or 20 other ones more just like him doing their little deal, right? Looking at a weather scope. Another guy's looking at some kind of a radar. Now, for months, if not years, these guys have been sitting in front of those same fucking computer screens and they've been watching simulations. They've been working with simulations, doing drills, practicing for the big event. So now, how do they know that this big event is really going on? Because they said it wasn't a simulation. This was real. This was going on. They're still the same fucking thing. They wouldn't know whether it was a simulation or not. But they all know to stand up and clap their hands and shit when their little buggy lands down on the fucking red planet or whatever else, right? Come on. Now, they're either really, really fucking stupid or really, really indoctrinated, or maybe both. Who knows? I don't know. But it doesn't take that much to pull it over. Yeah, your dad or your uncle or whatever might have worked on a fucking satellite or some other shit like that. Did he take it to space? No. That shit went up on a balloon if it went anywhere at all. You wouldn't believe the amount of money these corporations and shit waste on having some contract company build something and they never even fucking use it. They never even use it. I've experienced that myself. I had to build this test stand for transverse transmissions for the front wheel drive automobiles. And what would happen, it had a plate that would come up that would match the wormholes on the transmission, because it's like kind of a, it's not like in a rear wheel drive. Anyway, this thing would test the transmission to make sure it worked. So we had a different match plate for each one of the different transmissions. We spent a lot of time, a lot of money, a lot of drawings, a lot of engineering, a lot of manufacturing time on that, right? Sold it to Ford Automotive. They never used it. Never once used it. Parked it out back where there was a bunch of other fucking machines and shit that they'd bought and never goddamn used. So there's a lot of this goes on. I'm sure that NASA does it too. I've looked around on China Lake Naval Air Weapons Station, and you can find some interesting things if you on Google Earth on there. I've actually at one point in time I had it bookmarked. It's gone now, but I found a scrapped space shuttle sitting out there. There's all kinds of crazy shit. You wouldn't believe what's out in that desert, man. There's a place called Mars. There's also another place called Moon. So if you're believing in this going to space shit, then you haven't thought it out very much, because we already know, first off, we wouldn't have the air for me to be talking to you people right now, and for you to have the air to breathe that you're talking to me, or even the liquid water that you drink, without a contained atmosphere, which we live in. No possible way. And for somebody to claim that this fictitious, unproven, magical force called gravity is somehow holding gases against an immense vacuum of space, that's retarded. You haven't thought that out either. The whole thing about the moon going around the earth, and then when it gets over here to the sun, why the sun doesn't pull on it and take it away, that's dumber than shit. That's dumber than shit. None of their stuff makes sense. None of it is consistent. Causes a bulge of water on both sides of the earth, even though the moon's only on one side of it. How the hell does that happen? And then we're spinning inside of this bulge. This is what they're claiming. We spin inside of this bulge. That's what's going on. We're spinning inside this bulge. Well, if that's the case, then why can't a helicopter? Wouldn't it be the same thing with the Atmos? If it's that way with the water, it should be that way with the Atmos, right? So you should be able to just take an airplane up in the air and or a helicopter and hover for a couple hours, and a new destination will arrive underneath of you, right? Come on. One like equals one ass pounding. Yeah, I mean, and this is the he's a big boy. He is a big boy. Gravity gives globies a bulge. Yeah, they like blue balls. But at this point right now, I mean, it's like they've been getting hammered so hard recently that it's almost like playing whack-a-mole. They stick their head up and somebody smacks it down. And nobody's buying into their stupid shit. Nobody's playing into their little games anymore. They're just going, oh, okay, well, because we learn from each other. And so it's not as easy for them to be able to pull shit over on us because we've all been having these discussions now. And for quite a while, we've been in the trenches for a little bit. So when they try to run their little trickery bullshit, we recognize it right off the bat. And they have nowhere else to go. And so, like my friend Lucky Haskins says, all they have is fake space and mockery. And I think that there's some bit of a demonic possession going on with some of these guys. When I saw that clip of Craig and how he was just had a total fucking Woody Chubby over arguing with somebody. I mean, that's a low vibrational creature right there. That's a really low vibrational creature. And he's another one with the look like a pinched off fucking shit on the top of his head. This was the look you were going for. You went to the barber and he's going, what are you looking for there, Mac? And he says, can you make me look like a fucking turd that just got pinched off? Yeah, sure, we can do that. Just need a little gel. Holy cow, man. How much is a carton of smokes here? Oh, I don't know. Depends on what you get. They're probably close to around $80. Shit, I went to the supermarket today. I just got a couple of things and it was damn near $60. And I was like, God damn, man. This is getting out of control. It'll end very soon. Very, very soon. But here's a interesting thing about the how do you pronounce it? Himawari? Is that how you pronounce it? Let me see. The Himawari satellite. The Himawari satellite. And I guess this was one that the Chinese put up. I'm pretty sure. Well, let's see how they fake that shit out.
Allegedly gives us a picture every 10 minutes, and the weather data seems to be, pretty current. Well, unfortunately for the ballers, we're going to debunk that completely here, simply in the next 5 minutes, and show you how they fake it all. Let's cut right to the smoking gun to start. Here is the website anyone can go to and see this all for themselves. On a side note, the Himawari is operated by the Japanese Meteorological Space Agency and brought to us by the NOAA, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration's GOES geostationary satellite server. And I'll include the links here for all this stuff in the video description, so you can check it out right now if you want. Okay, so when you're at the FTP site, click here for the site description. So when you do, a text file comes up and you can see right here, they tell you that all of the images in the archive use the underlying colored land images from the NASA Blue Marble dataset. Yep. So the Himawari is actually totally debunked right there. These aren't real pictures coming from a satellite in a geostationary orbit above the Earth getting snapped every 10 minutes and being beamed down for us to all ooh and ah over. They take the Blue Marble data set, which I'm sure you remember. They admitted years ago was a flat strip data pieced together by an artist named Rob Simon in Photoshop because it had to be, right? But to move on, and then to just briefly show you how they generate a picture every 10 minutes with what appears to be accurate and current weather. This is basically what they do. Now, don't take my word for it. As I always say, go check it out for yourself. Number one, they have already created and stored transparent images of the weather over the oceans using climate simulation software, which they openly admit right here that they've done climate simulations up to the year 2095. But it's actually the year 2100 on this FTP server folder, and here's one of the images. And following some of the other images that you can find where the land masses are transparent, and they use all this simulation software to come up with the weather over the oceans. Since our weather data comes from our ground-based Doppler radar, and it's impossible to use ground-based systems to cover the entire vast oceans. So that's where the weather over the oceans comes from, their software simulations. Number two, now for the weather over the land, the NOAA has supercomputers that take data coming in from all over the world, Doppler radar feeds, and crunch it all together and combine it with the weather simulation data over the oceans. So they come up with a complete composite weather quote-unquote map, which is then wrapped around a ball in their 3D modeling software programs, just like we've shown countless times in our previous episodes with the Earth and the planets, etc. So Then what we get are composite images like this that are created in the 3D modeling software, the current Doppler weather data over land and the simulated weather over the oceans, and it looks like this. So this particular image is on the FTP server and is date and time stamped with October 11th, 2017 at 11:05 a.m. I just chose one randomly. Notice the image shows you the weather for the whole ball and not just part of the ball that is lit by the sun at this particular time. No Terminator line or anything like that, right? Okay, now here's the kicker. Go to the other file folder, which is the images that we get to see and are told are real pictures from space. But what they've simply done is taken the weather map picture of the whole ball they created and they superimpose it over the blue marble data set, just like they said they did. So what you can see here is the final version of what we're spoon-fed and told is a picture taken by the Himawari from space, like, 10 minutes ago. This is the image from the same date and time, October 11th, 2017 at 11:05 a.m. And you can see that the weather is exactly the same. Watch it closely. There's your weather map comprised of simulated and Doppler radar being used to complete a composite image. They do this with the Discover satellite too, the Epic camera from 1,000,000 miles away, they tell us. Ridiculous. Okay. Now, also notice the final image has a Terminator line added in to try and make it look like a real picture from space, which drives a nail in the coffin of the Himawari because the weather data shows it over the whole ball completely. But they have to add a Terminator line to show the Earth only partially lit by the sun based on the time of day that the photo is allegedly taken. So if this is a real picture, how did they know where to put the clouds and weather on the part of the globe with no sunlight? It's completely dark there. It's all right here, guys. They are faking space. Hey, we all fell for it for a long time with their Doppler radar and weather simulation software, building a current weather picture and wrapping it around a ball in 3D software and pasting it onto a black background like they do with all the others, adding a Terminator line and calling it a real picture from space. Himawari debunked once and for all. This has been Paul on the Plane.
So there it is. These people say, well, we have satellites that give us images from space, and they're out there hundreds of miles and thousands of miles, and they're orbiting and all this other nonsense. No, it isn't. No, it isn't. Space may be the final frontier, but it's made in a Hollywood basement, right? Come on, man.
Allegedly gives us a picture.
Stop believing in fairy tales, okay? Stop believing in Santa Claus, the Easter Bunny, Tooth Fairy. That's kind of creepy anyway. Some fairy floating around in your fucking room while you're sleeping, stealing your teeth and shit. What? Yeah. Come on, man. Okay. Oh, I found this. I sent this to Austin from Melodome. I don't know if you've seen it yet, but it's real short. This is crazy. Oh, those are contrails, you retard. Really? Oh. What happened? Just ran out of gas, man. All done. Cut the engines. Come on, man. Their excuses are getting tiresome, aren't they, folks? So even the Simpsons are predicting this shit, man. What I'm saying, Flat Earth Tipping Point 2024. Flat Earth Tipping Point 2024. Guarantee it. Check this out. This is even just I think this was on The Simpsons. Right? And I think that's funny too, because what are we seeing? Sports figures coming out and saying it's flat. That plane is spraying gravity. Absolutely. I believe you. I believe you. I believe you. I saw that Sovereign Wolf put out a video on the current debate, which I don't think there's a debate anymore. But yeah, I think he's starting to realize. I think there's a few that are realizing where we're at, that we're not where they tell us we are. Perhaps even an inertial plane of a toroidal energy field. I don't know, man. But I can tell you one thing. It's definitely not a fucking spinning ball of water flying around in space, because that's retarded. I mean, looking back now that I actually believe that nonsense, I have to go, no. Oh, yeah, I gotta do that too, because I want to send this to show this to you. So this is something that I've actually been asking. Wait a second, I know how to do it. I'll just send it to Ryan. Let's see if I can find the damn thing. There it is. Okay. So I saw this and it was fucking ridiculous, right? And they're all the time with their map. Oh, where's your map? How come, like, what's that asshole, Sean? That's right. There was a debate because there was a large segment of our population that actually believed that they were on a spinning ball in space, but a lot of people have woken up, and then there was a debate. And now there's not, because most people are bright enough to realize that that's fucking hogwash. At least I'm hoping they are. Yeah. But yeah, the whole idea of that inertial plane concept, what are we in? What actually is this? I mean, I can tell you it's definitely not a spinning ball with water sticking to it. I mean, when you look back and you think, oh my God, I used to believe that crap. And I laugh. I'm like, come on, man, I'm smarter than that shit, man. How did they ever float that shit really by me? How did they float it by anyone? And when you really start looking into how it's been done, you can see why it worked. But just like everything, truth obliterates. Always truth will surface, man. Deception can't stand, because deception requires more deception, and then more deception. And then pretty soon the whole big Jenga tower of deceit crumbles down in front of everybody's face. You know? And I think that that's a wonderful thing. It's dangerous to them because their entire control system relies on that. And it's the key stone in their foundation of these deceptions. Because I've had others relate this same thing as it's happened to myself, that once you've obliterated that, then you start seeing all of the rest of the deceptions. Because you know that they know that this, whatever is perpetuating, and we talk about powers and principalities, whatever's perpetuating this evil deception upon mankind, and not just where we live. I mean, I'm talking about the whole shebang, complete control of people's minds. Even people that think that they're in the church, people that think that they're, oh, I'm doing the right thing. They're not. They don't realize it, that they've been manipulated at every step, because they started picking at your fucking mind the moment you were born. They started fucking with your mind the moment you were born. And unfortunately, those that care about us the most were unwittingly fucking with our minds too. They didn't know better because their minds had been fucked with. It's self-perpetuating. Once you get it going, it's self-perpetuating. And if you throw a little mix into the programming of don't question it, follow the line, and if anybody does step out of line, everybody else be sure and ridicule. Everybody else be sure and make sure they get back in line. But some of us ain't getting back in line. And pretty soon, after some of us wouldn't get back in line, other people say, hey, he's not in line and he's doing all right. I'm gonna step out of line too, because I've been thinking about it. Once the seed is planted, and sometimes that can be devastating, because a lot of people have built their entire life around the deceptions. Measure the distance between Wellington and New Zealand and South Terrace and make it on a flat earth. Okay, once again, M-Ball, I want you to take your fingers out of your ears, stick them and put them in your mouth. Okay, that way you don't even type. And then you can hear this answer to your stupid fucking question. And then I'm going to bring something up and show it to you. Okay. So there are no accurate maps. And if, like you baltards claim, the azimuthal equilateral projection map that is normally used, like the Gleason map for all navigation worldwide by everyone, you claim that it's inaccurate. Okay. Riddle me this. If it shows a distortion in the south, why don't they have an azimuthal equilateral projection from the South Pole to use when you're in the southern hemisphere? I'll tell you why. In fact, I'll show you why. I had a baltard actually make this. Okay, so let me show this to you, and this is why. Look how fucking ridiculous that looks. Okay? Just have a gander there at how fucking ridiculous that looks. So if what you're saying is true regarding the AE map, okay, then they would have a southern projection like this to be used in the southern hemisphere. Wouldn't you agree? There you go. Yeah, there is one. Show it to us, M-Ball. What do we have, Sean? Oh my God, you're ignorant. All I can do, I'm some kind of a chomo that I have a windowless van, and that's all I can do. I don't have anything at all of substance to add to any conversation. You got something that's legitimate, Sean, bring it. Other than that, just go hang out with your fucking probation officer, man. You're lucky that we let animals like you here. You give me a fucking chomo vibe, bro. Real hard. Think I'm fucking with you, dickheads. We're going to find out all about you people. We're going to find out all about you people. Don't worry. The truth. The truth. The truth is coming out, bitches. And you can't stop it. You can't stop it. So, about the toroidal. Let's have a look-see at about that. The inertial plane. This is kind of interesting, man.
What up, fam? This is the inside of a torus field, and today we're going to talk about nature's inherent or intrinsic shape, that being a torus. We were looking at it from the inside. This is what it would look like from the outside. Everything follows this design. Nature, we see this everywhere. The electromagnetic field of the heart, this is actually measurable when you have love and when you have fear. Now, does it make a little more sense the last few years when they told you to stay 6 feet away? It's everywhere. Some will say that our eyes are the window to our soul. What's the shape of an eye? Well, you guessed it. It's a torus. So maybe the torus is the gate to our soul. On top of that, every sound that comes out of our mouth is a torus, even the baby babble from the globers. Why? Because our larynx has 3 sphincters, which in themselves are toroidal muscles. So here's a representation of vowels and their toroidal spin resonance. Letters from the Hebrew alphabet are all derived from a rotating torus as well. And the Muru Foundation backs us up. And don't worry, fam, I didn't forget about how this relates to the Earth. We don't live on a sphere, we live within a sphere. Every magnetic field has something called a black domain wall. If we look at this top left picture, that line in the middle, that white one, that's a black domain wall. Another word for that is inertial plane, meaning it's inertial, it's static, it does not move. This would be looking at the magnetic field from a side view. Now this top right one, if we were in space, quote unquote, looking down, that's what we would see. Okay, so how did we get this shape? Where does it come from? This is a ferrocell and a magnet. Basically, it's just two optical flats with ferrofluid in the middle that has magnetic suspension that lets us see these lines when we put LEDs around the outside. So this is a magnet, and you can see the field lines. Now I take the same magnet, flip it on its side, and then you can see the South and the North Pole. Here's a video as well to give you a little demonstration of what it looks like. So now that we know what a magnetic field looks like, let's dig a little deeper. So again, a magnet underneath the ferrocell, look at the design, and let's match it with the path of the ISS. So here we go, this is the path of the ISS, public information, layer it over magnetic field, boom, matches perfectly. Look where it doesn't go in the center, aka the North Pole. All right, so now we input data for observations for the azimuth and declination of the sun for an entire year, and guess what? A torus field. What a surprise. Matches perfectly within the magnetic field. Now, if we animate all sun positions over a year, it's like a wave pushing and pulling through the field. This is not a coincidence. So here, magnetic field lines again underneath the ferrocell, and over here we have the apparent pattern of a solar eclipse. Looks exactly the same. What a surprise. The path of the moon over a flat Earth works perfectly within that torus field again. All right, so here's the so-called planets, which are just wandering stars, and the paths that they make over a flat Earth. Makes perfect sense because it matches the magnetic field once again when allegedly we're flying within all of this. Beautiful patterns that the wandering stars make over our Earth. So here's a representation of the so-called planets, aka wandering stars, just doing sacred geometry. So here we have the sun position data projected on a plane surface from one longitude. Versus long exposure of the sun for a year using a pinhole camera matches perfectly. And again, fits right within the torus field. What happens when we take magnetic flux data and put it on a plane surface? It matches perfectly, and you have a vortex just like it shows here. So if you guys enjoyed what you watched, I would be sincerely grateful if you would comment, like, post, share, get the word out there. Let's help each other out.
Let's help each other out. Right on. But I think that's really interesting. If you notice my email, I've been looking into the torus field and energy fields and things like that for a number of years now. I've had that email for quite some time, torus field 369. And well, we got a bunch of people come in here tonight. I got Axis Rat Blood has come here. Carrie Skates is in here tonight. Got somebody named Sav Soul, president of the Methadone Club. Well, there you go. Methadone. Tiffany Vinci has joined us. Let's see. Thrashless Smith is with us. Rasta Bear's here too. Cool beans. Angela Baby Carson. There's Melodome. Welcome, brother. Austin. Sean Alkey. Jason Valencia. Let's see who else. Oh, and of course, M Ball. Is that Witsits double? Yes. Wow. Nailed it, M Ball. Get ready to smoke some space balls. Hell yes. Fuck yeah. Smoke a bunch of them space balls. I have smoked moon rocks when those first came around. Those were kind of good, man.
What up, fam?
A little bit much. In case you don't know what moon rocks are, they take a bud and they drench it in hash oil and then powder it with keef. And yeah, pretty good. But I mean, this stuff, what did we see here last night? We looked there, said they were going to throw some satellite out there to go check out this asteroid that's worth like a gazillion billion dollars or some shit. And it's got all kinds of nickel and iron and stuff in it. They somehow know this before they've checked it out because of spectroscopy. We use spectroscopy and we look at the stuff. I can tell what have you ever done spectroscopy? No, but they told me at a thing that they did. Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, that proves it then. Fucking jackasses. Swear to God. Oh, can get this THC juice stuff now. It's 80%. Well, all right. Where's that at? I mean, we're getting a little sophisticated out here in the sticks. I mean, 111 people watching. That's a good number. I like that. But I mean, it blows my mind now here where I live now that people are just freely smoking weed, and 15 years ago they were locking motherfuckers up for a quarter ounce of pot in their pocket, and I'm like, oh shit, this has really changed. You can make those maps centered on any place on earth. Ham radio operators, which you're not one. You people that don't work ham radios talk about ham radios a lot. And you also talk about fucking flying airplanes a lot when you don't fly airplanes. I think you're like armchair basement dwelling, hot pocket eating incels. I really do. I really do. And I feel bad for you. I feel bad for you. There's my little gal Friday showed up here finally. Hang on a second here. I got to get over. All right, there we go.
Awesome. Good to see you.
So, wow. So yeah, these people all the time with their, my uncle worked at NASA. Fuck you.
I think we already determined that it doesn't matter where they work. They didn't know it all.
No. And you know what? I don't even care at this point. It's like, who are you trying to convince of your fucking fake shit? You or me? Because you certainly aren't going to convince me. I done saw how the lady gets sawed in half. Okay.
Right.
I know how the trick is done. I'm not going to ooh and ah. I know that you're fucking pulling bullshit. So I don't even need to go there with it.
Yep.
And I gotta have to act like
magic shows or looked out that moon window. You remember in the old vans, they had that little round moon window in the back.
Yeah. Yeah, that was
their whole world is round.
Yes, you look through that thing, and that's how it looked. Just like when you look through your peephole.
Yeah.
If you've ever had one of those peepholes in an apartment or something, you look out and everything's all fucking distorted and shit. And that's it. Oh, look, my friend is a globe.
Yeah, it makes everything look big.
So how do you know
bobblehead standing on the front porch?
So how do you know that you're standing on a globe? Because I looked into the sky. Oh, well, there you go. You're a smart motherfucker, aren't you, boy? I'll tell you what, you looked into the sky. Well, that's awesome, because that's how I determined that I'm a bird. I looked up in the sky. I saw a bird, and I said, that's a bird. I must be a bird, too.
Yeah, pretty much, huh?
Wow. It's so crummy. It's so dumb. And it's like, well, you look up and I got a thing where, let me see if I can find that. It's about the, let's see. I think the telescopes will distort shit anyways.
I mean, if water doesn't tell them and prove to them, nothing, I don't think nothing will. I think they choose to be willfully ignorant.
Well, some of them, that they've shot their mouth. There's some of them here. There's different classifications. There are those that truly don't know.
Right.
And once they are open to the information, they can usually come to a decision. There are those that don't know, pretend that they do, and have shot their mouth off and now can't backtrack on it. And it's a matter of pride.
Right.
Then you've got these ones that I think are like some kind of weirdos or chomos or whatever that they've caught, and to keep them from having to go to prison where they're undoubtedly be killed, they strike a deal with somebody so that they have to do these fucking troll videos, man.
Yeah. And then I think you left out one group, and that's those that don't know or are curious and want to know more.
Right.
And those are the ones I really like.
That's
the ones that are like, hey, wait a minute here. You got a point. You know what I mean?
Right.
Let's think about this. Let's talk about this. Ask their questions. Bring more to the table because of it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, those are my favorite.
Was
They're the open
M-Ball,
minds.
M-Ball says pot kills brain cells. Well, luckily for you, though, I use psilocybin mushrooms, which have been shown to grow brain cells. So I'm just keeping up, right? Fucking wow. Now,
I think that drinking kills more than marijuana. That's for sure. Cannabis is
absolutely.
more of a healing herb.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's a high vibration. You see,
Yeah,
that's why it's called getting high.
that's
Right?
what. Yeah,
But it is. It does break down the programming. Melodone's got that right. It does. But I'll tell you another thing. It's a high vibration, and whatever vibration that you're resonating with is the type of spirits you're going to attract. Okay, I would prefer to attract light beings. You know, if you want to drink alcohol and attract demons, by all means, go right ahead. It's all how you tune your radio. It's all.
I think if everyone that is on antidepressants was to smoke pot, they'd be much happier in just a matter of moments, and they could throw
Maybe.
all the other crap in the trash.
Maybe.
That's just my opinion, of course.
Well, the thing that gets me about that is it worries me about it because they wanted to. Who was telling me about that? Or they said that they. Oh, my neighbor, because because she's put on a little weight, and not much. I mean, she's, she isn't fat or anything, right? And she's had 2 kids here in the last 3-4 years, right? And the doctor's like, "Oh, we want to maybe put you on some thyroid medicine." And she goes,
geez.
"Why?" Well, because you put out a little bit of weight. And she's like, "Well, so what? I'm not take thyroid medication for that shit. What the fuck is wrong with you?" But it turns out that, because they get like bonus points and shit for prescribing this crap, man.
Yeah,
So
they
it's
do
like,
that. I'm
but
not sure if they still are, but they used to get like 7-day vacations and
yeah.
all that. So, it was a good incentive. New cars.
There's a lot of
winning in that profession.
Yeah. There's a lot of
Okay.
winning. Yes, there's a lot of winning, but we got to stay away from that and not even talk about those people. Fuck them. You just can't. Everybody knows. If you don't know by now, well, then I feel bad for you, because there's a lot of us have paid the price trying to let you know. And if you haven't listened by now, we're done. That's the way I look at it. You've been in a hole somewhere for the last few years. So look into the enzymes for thyroid. It naturally activates the hormones, whether high for, Yeah, it was like, here you need chemicals in your brain are not right. And you have depression. So we want to get, well, which chemicals are, low in my brain, Well, I don't know. We didn't do any tests to find out. We're just going to give you something for it. Oh, okay. Well, that makes sense. How scientific of you,
Yeah.
We're just going to take a shot in the dark and see how this does. It's just like with these these telescopes. If you look at what did fucking Galileo, and everybody's like, "Oh, this guy, he's a fantastic saint in our heliocentric religion."
Just by the way that Soft Soul, president of the Methadone Club, is talking or typing, I should say, I think that's our Nick. I think that's No Show Nicky Poo.
It probably is.
I mean, he types just like Nicky Poo talks.
He does.
I gave him a new name.
And real loud.
I thought he needed a pet name, so I gave him Nicky Poo.
Yeah. No Show Nick. Are we talking about No Show Nick?
Yeah.
Oh no, not No Show Nick. We got Cages up here.
Yeah.
It's a bit
Don't
different.
get
How you
too
doing,
excited
Zombie?
about it. Don't get too excited about it.
Yeah, I've been trying to find a new crack dealer, you know what I mean? I'm trying to get fucking retarded off the reality.
You know, let's see, why are you a coward hiding behind a burner account? Yeah, Nick, come on, man. You know, are you embarrassed? Harneet Garawal, are you embarrassed? Come on, Harneet. Talk to me, Harneet. Harney. Talk to your daddy, Harney.
Well, you know,
I'm
even
just
when
fucking
somebody
around. What's up?
types,
What's up, Dream? What's up, Sovereign? How you guys doing?
Oh, not
doing
too
good
bad.
here. How about you?
Good. Thank you. Thank you.
These people have no model that works. What, Globers? You're right. You don't, because you can't have a fluid pressure system without containment. Retard.
Well, all they have is a cardboard ball with a map, with a, you know, what looks like a map wrapped around it. They don't have a working model. So
No.
until they come up with a working model, I ain't gonna listen to them. I got more proof in a glass of water than they got in their little globe that sits on their teacher's desk.
Well, it falls apart right from the beginning, you know. I don't care which part you want to look at. The sun, okay, show me a gas forming together into a ball. Go ahead. Show me gas having gravity. Show me a gas having fucking gravity. I mean, that's the dumbest shit thing. If that's true, you should be able to do your little beloved Cavendish experiment with some gas, right? Form it up into a little ball, you know, have its own gravity, hold it together. You got to be retarded, man. It's Nick's orange account. It's Nick's Orange's account.
Maybe they were playing with hand grenades and realized gravity was really powerful.
Someone had to pull the pin, you know?
I know, right?
Answer your one question. Come on up on the panel and ask all the questions you want.
Aren't grenades under pressure? Then you pull the pin.
Yep. Those explosives are inside of a container. Otherwise, they just make a real quick fire. Oof.
Yeah.
Gunpowder won't explode. It'll just ignite, right? Unless it's contained. Then it'll explode. It requires containment, that pressure, that sudden bust of equalization of pressure.
All right.
So what happened to him? He said to answer his one question. I will answer your one question. Go ahead and ask it. I haven't seen you ask one, Nick. No show, Nick. Nick Harneet. Harneet Grawal. What kind of fucking name? That's crazy sounding. And he's not Jewish. He claimed on another thing that he was Indian British or British Indian or something like that. So I don't know. Oh boy. Here comes Rasta Bear. We got him down here. Hold on a second.
What happened to Cage? He poofed, huh?
He just left out. I don't know where he went. There's Rasta Bear.
Damn, that sounded like a freaking party.
That sounded like a great party.
Wow.
That's better than that baby jabbering. You know, you could have got that one.
All the baby jabbering.
Yeah.
Oh, we got Nick Cage back in the house.
Nick Cage.
Nicolas Cage.
Was on the backup. What is it?
No, Nick's I think is that one dude over there that's the meth dude.
All the
He's
What?
on methadone, he said.
Yeah, he was Saab for president of the Methadone Club. He's done left out here. He's mad now because everybody so easily figured out that it was him.
No, but Dave, you're the master of carfentanil.
The wolf.
what is?
Oh my God, no.
Well, it's easy because, the way you type or the way you talk, it doesn't matter how many accounts you make, you're still going to have that same way of communicating. So it's easy to figure you out.
Yep. Real easy.
It's like a thumbprint, it's just made for you, and that's it.
Why do not flat Earth models have correct distances between points in the southern hemisphere? How do we know that they're not correct? How do you know what the distances actually are? Have you ever actually measured the distances yourself? No. You don't know. And like I've said before, Harneet Gray Wall. Okay, as I've stated before, there are no accurate maps at all.
I found it interesting that
Hold on, Ross Bear. Who the fuck told you guys for a minute you're allowed to think? Okay.
No,
No one's going around telling you that. Okay, so get back to the program. Shut up.
well, I found it interesting earlier today. Mr. MBB333, if you're familiar with his channel, like he did a live stream discussing the flat Earth because he's not on board yet, but he's also not opposed to the idea of it, which is all we can really ask for.
From what I understand, Renee Bernays was over there and had invited him to come over and check out my show, and I guess he subscribed. I hadn't looked, but he said that he had subbed. So
nice. Yeah, he had talked about having a panel of some people come on and have a discussion.
That would be great.
So that would be really cool because he has a pretty big subscriber base. So it would definitely. And I was looking the people in the chat, like it seemed like the majority of people in the chat were saying that they believed it was flat. It's definitely it's definitely at a turning point.
Oh yeah, I confidently say that we are going to see a tipping point this coming year. I can confidently say that. I've been watching the pattern of how this is starting to take place overall, and it's not being met with the as much scorn as it was. There's more and more people on board with it. I mean, what was that one clip we saw from Family Feud? And the question was, if you're out with a beautiful date and she tells you that the earth is flat, what do you do? What do you say? Right? And the number one answer was agree with her.
Right.
Number one answer. And I mean, that's, that's really saying something that you're seeing at that more mainstream. I think it was Bearsworth said he was at a bar. I think it was he was talking about that, and he said, I'm gonna, feel a little ornery. He went outside to smoke a cigarette, and so he said out kind of loud, he said, yeah, Earth is flat and space is gay. And instead of being met with opposition, he said 3 other people came over and started talking to him about it.
Awesome.
That's hilarious. But what's funny? Like, Saw, if you wear glasses in that, right? How do glasses work when you put them on your fucking head?
Yeah, they magnify to a certain degree based on the macular degeneration of my own lenses.
Is that what they told you? Is that what they told you, Dave?
You use them big words, people are gonna think you're smart.
Yeah, right. Don't say don't say it exploded. Say sudden unscheduled disassembly. Yeah,
sudden ocular optics of things I wear in my head, and the earth is a crack rock.
The senator did not lie. He gave a less than truthful response.
Exactly.
Oh, okay. Well, that's a lot better. Shit. But that one when that fucking rocket blew up, and they said it was a sudden unscheduled disassembly, and I'm like, yeah, that
He said
means
the damn thing
explosion.
exploded.
Yeah, Christ.
So whatever you want to call it.
Well, you think about it, you weren't expecting it. That's unscheduled, sudden, absolutely disassembly. Oh yeah, everything poof into little pieces every fucking where.
Cage,
So
what made you change your mind about what you were taught, or did you ever think it was a round ball?
I go a bit deeper than that, but for all my, it's a fucking pyramid. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I could be on board with that.
Triangular.
Yeah,
You never know.
Just
They
like-
really do like triangles, you know.
just like the mountains, it's like the peaks and valleys, and then we don't know what the oceans. I mean, we don't even know what's at the bottom of the ocean yet.
yeah, we
you
do.
know, and then
Oceans are
I know it's
just like
I know it's at the bottom of the
above.
ocean.
you
mountains
Ground.
and valleys.
you don't know the depths of it, like how far it could go.
I think they've used
The
like
Mariana
sonar, and
Trench.
and what's interesting is it only goes down about the same depth as the deepest hole dug, like close to 8 miles.
Yeah, we looked it up already.
In
But
the
the Mariana Trench is supposed to be the deepest. I think.
that's the one I was trying to think of. The Marianas Trench is like seven
But see,
and a half miles
we
deep.
also know that they can use sonar, and sonar bounces off of,
I bet like there's like
objects.
the Strait of Hormuz or whatever, Hormuz,
Mhm.
and also like the Red Sea, where like they've like people have witnessed like these ships go into and come out, and plus like there's a military representation from every nation that has a freaking navy in that area for some reason. Like there's something going on there.
Well, there's a whole bunch. There's like a big inland underground sea underneath California in
Yeah.
Nevada.
And
Yeah,
I know that to be true because I actually met Dave down there once.
The U.S. Navy Submarine Warfare Center Training Center is in just outside of Las Vegas.
Yeah, I was
Dave,
down.
don't try to not admit that I met you down there. I gave you them glasses you're wearing.
I was down there. I was down in Humboldt, down in Arcata, and I was at this rest area in the redwoods there, and I was just I was sleeping overnight there.
What, a Bohemian? You were at Bohemian Grove in the redwoods?
It's pretty close to Bohemian, but I was talking to this dude down there who's like an artist. He's like, he's done a lot of the sculptures under the bridges and stuff, and he's a local. And he was telling me how like there's these underground military bases just under the rocks, right, or undersea military bases just like under the rocks right off the coastline there.
Yeah.
And then this was like years ago, back in like probably like 2011 or 2012. And he was even telling me then that they were already clearing the other side of the 101 there, on the other side of the road, for staging grounds for like the Chinese, for their their staging grounds when they decide to invade. And so I thought it was wild. He was telling me.
There, I've always known since the moment I saw you that you were a Chinese spy.
Yeah, I mean, oh yeah, I wish they'd pay me though for my work.
No, that's later. I'll talk to PR about that.
Yeah, I could definitely use more rations.
There's a lot about this place that we don't know, and that's the whole thing. I think that's part of the big trick with NASA. The huge part of their budget is not, when you say NASA, what do we think, right? We think about the space. We think about the ISS and going to other planets and that kind of bullshit, right? But what we're getting is a bunch of CGI and fake bullshit. Okay, that's the distraction. Where's that money really going? That money's really going into black projects, right?
These domes,
active denial systems, smart dust, all kinds of crazy shit, surveillance technology, all kinds of shit like that. That's where it's really going. So it's real simple. Hey, look up while I punch you in the nuts, and that's what they're doing.
Have you
Hey,
researched
hold on, Dave. Guys,
Phil
let me put it like
Schneider?
this quickly.
Yeah. Hold on a second, Cage.
Yeah, I'm gonna say, yeah, you get a Satanist, a Jew, and a Nazi. They walk into a bar. What do they make?
I don't know, but the bartender said, "What is this? Some kind of a joke?"
That was NASA, NASA, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
You get a Satanist, a Jew, and they all walk into a bar. They create something called NASA. There you go. It's a perfect combination.
Well, they're closely related, a lot of those things, but I mean, we know that Jack Parsons was heavily involved in as a disciple of Crowley, and supposedly was performing a ritual when he died of opening a portal. And supposedly he died, and the portal's still been open.
Well, I think you're alluding to something called the Abramelin. You know what the Abramelin ritual is?
No.
Well, it's similar to what I believe, and a lot of people believe is going on at CERN as well. I mean, they did that ritual to begin the thing. I think even Tom Hanks was there, and it's like one of those, the witching circles where they, open up a portal somehow, and they, and there's multiple of these colliders all over the world.
Who knows what those are really for? I don't think they're really smashing little tiny things together. That's
no, I think they're conjuring. I think they're either conjuring spirits or they're using them as like a Stargate of sorts, where they can either manipulate time. I think that it's still very plausible that they have something to do with the Mandela effect. And also, today I saw, I don't know if you're familiar with.
Real quick. We got almost 100 people watching, man. Y'all click that like button, man. Click that like button.
Hit that like where you're supposed to. You know what to do.
I don't know if you're familiar with Jacob Israel or follow his stuff at all.
Yeah, I've watched some of his shit. He's a Mason.
Yeah, well, so are a lot of people. It's like how do you prove that he's a Mason?
Have you not looked at his set at all?
Well, look at your set.
Hold on, wait
your
a second.
Your set is the freaking ISS.
Wait a second, Rastaberry.
Yeah.
Have you looked at his set? Have you observed the objects that he has in the background?
We can't even see what's in the background of your house, though.
I know.
We see an ISS.
Right.
So how are we supposed to?
I got one word.
Rasta, you're not answering my question.
Jabulon.
Okay.
Okay.
Have you or have you not noticed all the Masonic imagery that he uses?
I know that our dollar bill has the one eye pyramid symbolism on it. We use that every day, right?
You don't. So you don't notice it, right?
No, I just don't care because I don't think it's really that big.
Well, you asked me, didn't you just ask me how? Didn't you just ask me how I knew?
Yeah, but I don't think that that's proof.
You don't.
You're missing the point, Rasta.
That's not proof.
Are you
I mean,
familiar with the two pillars?
Do you wear Levi jeans?
Do you understand? Do you know what the two pillars are?
Well, it represents a great number of things, like the Twin Towers.
So you don't. So you don't.
No, it doesn't necessarily just mean that.
Boaz, the tree of life, the two pillars of severity.
So you're saying that even though he speaks a lot of truth, and he talks about Christ, and he's going to be in the new Mandela Effect movie. He's dropped lots of Mandela effects, and really is on board with that.
We don't even know what the two pillars are, buddy.
Like
come on,
that.
Joaquin and Boaz.
How about this? Right? What if I introduced you to a girl?
Right?
And I tell you, she's a really nice girl. She seems to be a good Christian woman and shit, and she's really in tune with the spirit and that kind of thing. Now she did hang out with the Manson family for a long time, but she's not anymore. Is that still going to be a stigma?
Yeah,
this chick was hanging out with the Manson family. All right. So if I turn around and I look at all this fucking crazy shit that goes on, and I see a Mason's fingerprints on the fucking shit all over the place, right? Doesn't that put a certain stigma on that organization?
I mean, but we've had freaking Flattoberfests or whatever in Mason halls before. Is that not the same thing? Like
I
we
haven't.
can
Hold
we
on,
can
wait a
go
second.
to
Well,
like
I
events at these.
haven't. Hold on, I've never done that.
I know, but like
Okay.
they've had the
Well,
events
what does
at
that
them
got to
before.
do with anything that I'm talking about?
You have no idea.
I mean,
what
look at
masonry
Las
is.
Vegas. Is like
Hold
Las
on, you have no
Vegas is
clue
called
what
Sin
masonry
City.
really is either.
Right. So
You go to Sin City.
Again, what does that have to do with what I said?
I just think it's a bit hypocritical
What?
to
You mean the guy purposely puts a bunch of Masonic symbolism as his
what else bad
decoration behind
do
it?
you have to say about him though? Do you
I
have
didn't-
anything else bad to say about him? Or-
No, I did. Why is that bad? I just pointed it out.
Well, I
Okay,
just
so
just
that
asked how
to
you
me-
feel about
so that
him as
to
a
me-
somebody who
that
makes
affiliation,
videos.
that affiliation gives me pause to be skeptical.
Okay, well, it's okay to be skeptical of. I mean,
Right.
I'm skeptical of you, but I still come on here because I enjoy like your show.
Rasta, we already know your brain's fried out, man. So
It's
it's
how
irrelevant
do
what
we
you
get to
think.
that though? I just
Dave,
complimented
what did I
you.
tell you about selling crack? To
I
this
said-
guy? I probably cut him off.
I said like I enjoy your show. I know
Right.
I don't like it when you get grouchy and
No,
whatnot.
you don't like it when you have a tendency to be a victim to cults of personality. And what I mean by that is that you find it necessary to, on a personal level, defend people that you don't really even know merely because of you're in a cult of personality.
No, I really don't. Honestly,
with Owen Benjamin.
Honestly, right now I'm
right?
kind of butthurt. I'm gonna have to write Owen a letter because I didn't get a Christmas card in the mail, and I've been waiting by my mailbox every day when the mailman comes and like my dog barks and I'm like, oh, today's gonna be the day. Last year I got a Christmas card from him and it was just like the greatest thing ever. I was like, I can't believe Big Bear sent me a Christmas card.
I can't believe that someone that I don't even know sent me.
I know. Last year he said he sent
Bro,
them out.
I don't even believe this guy. He's just trolling.
You know
And
what?
so I didn't get a card.
Rasta reminds me of. Remember how
Now I'm pissed.
Rasta, hush just a minute.
I might have to drop my bear name over this. If I don't get a Christmas card, it might.
Excuse me,
seriously.
Rasta.
I'm sorry.
Rasta reminds me of those clips we used to see of when Elvis came on stage and all the women were passing out. He gets this euphoria about him, like it's a drug to meet someone famous.
Yeah,
He's the kind of
I know. I'd like to meet you, Roseanne.
Instead of draws them in. You need to learn to be a friend. When you learn to be a friend, you'll have people doing the very same thing with you.
We're not learn to be a friend. Like, how do you don't even know me on like a personal level? Like, how do you? You don't know the half of what I do for my friends.
Hold on, Rasta. That's exactly my point, right? So I bet you still have last year's Christmas card from Big Bear, don't you? You still have it, don't you?
Maybe somewhere. Yeah, I did.
Now, be honest. If he came up to you and like said, "Hey, bro," and put his arm around you and said, "Rasta Bear, how you doing?" You'd come in your fucking jeans, wouldn't you? You would.
No, I wouldn't, because
would.
then I'd have to pay my gay away.
Oh, hold on, pause for a minute, Rasta Bear and that. All right, you're talking about something in Big Bear. I'm from the hood in Toronto. And we used to have a convenience store called Big Bear. That's like fucking. Is that what you're talking about?
No. Owen Benjamin.
Yeah,
Oh,
Owen.
We had a convenience store called Big Bear.
And like I sent him a letter with my new address on it, but it was a bit of a long letter, and I don't.
Large hairy homosexual men call themselves bears.
You're gay and retarded. What are you?
Yeah, they also still a rainbow that isn't theirs as well. You know, it's like they do a lot of things that, you know, we can't condone just because they they take a name or an animal and try and claim it as their own. It's like the police and the pigs. It's like they're not pigs, they're police.
Oh, yeah, cool. Yeah, I got that. Hang on a second. All right. Yeah, go ahead and put it as an attachment. Go ahead and put it as an attachment. Awesome. Who was that? God, people are chatting like crazy. You guys are going crazy in here. Little M, I did get the email, so I didn't see an attachment on it though.
Did you get a card? No Despair Bear? Because I didn't get a card.
Well, postage went up this year, and you guys haven't been as forthcoming on giving him money and shit this year.
No, he said he sent everybody's cards out.
So well, maybe he got wind of you being beamed up by Palladians and shit. And
yeah, maybe so. Maybe he's been on. Maybe he's.
Maybe he's avoiding you. Maybe he doesn't like you anymore.
Maybe he doesn't. That's what I've been losing sleep over it at night.
I've been like,
why could he possibly not send me a card? Like I'm a bear. Rasta bear.
Southern Hemisphere breaks off flat Earth.
Send me a card. Don't understand it.
What?
I just think it's funny that you do put too much into other people.
I don't put anything into other people. Honestly, I think like it's silly.
I mean, you turn them into your gods and your heroes and stuff instead of just being another person that you can
I really don't. I'm quite disgusted with most people, honestly. Like I don't hold celebrities in any higher status than myself. And like I think like you get a whole different perspective of me, because sometimes I can sound a little silly with with the way I present the topic, but at the end of the day, it's like I'm not being 100% serious in the situation, because at the end of the day I could really care less. I things come and go in my life. They come and they go, and the new things are come around, and I'm here for the ride, for the experience, and not to be attached.
I got Sovereign Spirit Lone Wolf in the house here tonight. Got some more people have showed up. Rocky Shepherd's come in. Axis Rat Blood is here with us. Metaphysician. Who else we got here that didn't? Feather Bear. What's that one song that goes, almost had your hooks in me, sugar bear. You nearly had me roped and tied. Altar bound, hypnotized, sweet freedom whispered in my ear. You're a butterfly. You don't know that song?
No, I don't know that one.
Butterflies are free to fly, fly away high. It's a good old Elton John shit, man, from back in the day.
We got Daryl Davis up in the chat.
Someone saved my life tonight.
Valley Parks.
Got Renee. Yay. Sovereign Spirit Lone Wolf is glad to see her. Yeah. I guess Renee was over there and told him about the channel. We have a link clicked up here. God damn, we got Lucky Haskins here too. Jesus, Daryl Davis. Got a bunch of legends in this house, man.
And this is
doing good.
Stream.
So I got this thing. I love this guy's work, man. Caleb has been on fire recently. He's taken a lot of shit because he's been calling out a certain group of individuals in this world that seem to be running and pulling strings. that you're usually not allowed to talk about. And so consequently, he's been catching some heat. But this was a cool little thing he did at the lunar wave. If you remember back a while ago, Crow 777, I think that's the right amount of sevens, but most people know who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
He filmed a wave going across the moon, and this was kind of some crazy shit,
shout
man.
out to Nutmouth Video in the chat.
All right, so here we go.
If you ask me, there's probably a lot more to the moon than we think. The moon's on a 28-day phase cycle, creating a moon. A lot of people theorize that if there weren't so many chemicals and birth control and things like that messing with women's menstrual cycles, that they'd be directly aligned with the moon phases. Some are even saying that the moon is a reflection of the Earth, and I can't confirm this, but can't say it's not interesting. And if you haven't gone outside during the day, yeah, we're seeing through it. I don't think that this thing's a dusty rock. Science tells us only due to perspective the moon and the sun are the same size. Not in reality. The sun is somehow 400 times bigger and 400 times farther than the moon. But this all happened from a cosmic random explosion. Like, think about it. How do we see the same side of the moon if it's actually a ball? If we're both spinning, because obviously the moon is spinning too as it apparently orbits around us. It's spinning at the perfect rate so that we'll never see the other side. I wonder if there's like a law of thermodynamics explaining how chaos can never go to order. What do I mean by that? You'll never be able to throw all the parts to create a car out into the woods and have it randomly fall together and create a car. That's what a lot of people are saying happened with our world, the moon. Like, there's too many synchronicities, in my opinion. If you find from your own experience that something is a fact and it contradicts what some authority has written down, then you must abandon the authority and base your reasoning on your own findings. Great quote. And if you didn't know, there's also something called the lunar wave that happens to the moon, where literally like a wave just... I'll show you it, but I also just did a 2-hour podcast with the first person that filmed the very first lunar wave and basically kicked off the flat earth movement. Man, am I thankful for that guy. But check this out.
So I'm filming one night looking for objects. I pan my camera down and the wave starts, this hologram wave. I don't notice it. And then it catches up to the camera and I do notice it. I glance at the moon, but when you're staring at things, you don't know whether it's your eyes or what. And then I notice a second wave coming. And at this point, I'm thinking it's my camera. I look up at the moon again and, I just don't know what to think.
Yeah, weird, right? We talk about the lunar wave and much more in the podcast that I just recorded with Crow. Link in my bio for the website, top button. All I can say is that we've been lied to about the moon. I don't think that it's what we've been told. I don't know if it's a hologram or what, but it's definitely not a ball. Balls don't reflect light like it's reflecting light. If you want to hear truth I can't talk about on here, seriously, check out the podcast.
Yeah, no doubt, man. That's really if you look up the lunar wave on his channel, it's some pretty crazy shit. But I want to address what Nick had asked about this here. He says, how are they pulling off the southern hemisphere's distance hoax? What distance hoax? How do you know what the distances actually are, Nick? How do you know? Did you measure them? How would you do that? How would you know if you were going against a current or not? If you were traveling in a boat, how would you actually know what distance you actually traveled in that boat? You really don't. And you've never done it. So you don't know any true distances. And that's a straw man argument that they are hoaxing the distances in the South. We don't know that they are. We don't know that they're not. You have no way of fucking measuring it. The only thing you know is what you've been told.
Well, and it's such a sad thing to keep on having to repeat over and over in the chat, like the same question, and then change your screen name to like it was already a ridiculous screen name, and then to be like, oh, I'm gonna go change it. They figured me out. I'm gonna go change it to another name that's really obnoxious, and then just sit there and like disagree and just repeat the same thing
Right.
over. I mean, that's like that's
If you ask
earlier late
me-
stages of a mental illness.
When did you discover or figure out the Earth wasn't a globe, Rasta?
It was early on, probably back in like there's this Nas and Damian Marley song called Patience that came out back in like 2011. And on that, Damian Marley says the earth was flat. Now the earth is round. If it changed shapes again, everybody would have start laugh. And so it, even back then the concept was, in my mind. And then like shortly after the event there in Connecticut, I that was like the next big thing that just like I was just found that out like right after that and was really just deep diving into it. And yeah, it was very fascinating. And yeah, when I first got into it, I tried to really just wake everybody up, and then people were really pretty obnoxious about about
I can hardly believe that, Rasta.
Check this out. Y'all want a little laugh or something here, real quick?
Sure.
This is pretty good.
Are those midgets?
Yeah, I'll get. I'll get hollered at by the trolls for he's exploiting midgets again. God damn it! They don't like it when I exploit the midgets.
Well, they've all been out of work since like even the Willy Wonka movie doesn't use them anymore.
No, listen, I'll tell you what. I
switched to CGI.
I got a video. I have a video of we went to the Dwarfinators, and the Dwarfinators. Let me see. I can actually find them on here. And it's there. It is.
It's the Dwarfinators.
Yeah. It's this wrestling that they do. Let's see. Extreme Dwarfinators. Let me pull that up. Here it is. Okay.
My favorite midget is that Peter Dinkle from the Game of Thrones and Elf. That's like that scene in Elf where the elf dude is sitting across from him and he's like, "Say elf one more time."
All right, so here it is. They're Extreme Dwarfinators Wrestling, and they do this like all over the country, right? They go all over the place, and they put on a hell of a show. This is their Facebook page.
And I would go see that in Portland if it came.
It probably will. You go on here, you can look, and they've got a thing where you can look up where their next shows are going to be at. They travel all over the place. Yeah, here, watch this.
Little people are talented too.
I wonder if they've got other kinds of dwarf videos, if you know what I mean.
So let's see on their thing up here. It says something about yeah, because it's pretty cool. I had trolls get all pissed off at me because I went and I filmed it. I put it on my YouTube channel and I got some video of the dwarfs flying around, man, and it's cool as shit because they come right out in the audience and shit, and they start like whacking on each other with chairs and all kinds of shit, man. It's funny as fuck, man. But you can tell it's not real. It's as fake as shit, but it's entertaining as all hell. And most of them, they wear like the Mexican wrestling masks.
When I was little, I went to Bristol, the Bristol Coliseum there in Bristol, Virginia, Tennessee, right on the border there, and I got to see the Hulk Hogan wrestle Andre the Giant there, and Hulk Hogan picked up Andre the Giant up over his head and body slammed him.
Yeah. Hey, listen, I've seen people actually think that shit is real to a point where they'll fight with each other over it, man. I'm not kidding you.
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, you don't know. And so this is why it's so easy for them to pull their fucking game on us. Like, even up to and including this crap with, Oh, we're rattling sabers with Russia. Yeah, I know. And Hulk Hogan was going to whip the shit out of fucking Macho Man, too. It's the same thing because they're all run by the same club, man.
Yeah,
You understand?
what
What
blows my
people don't,
mind?
Rasta, wait a second. I'm talking. So, what people don't understand, we've been under a one world government since at least the 40s. Okay. Since at least the late 40s. And you see this. I mean, think about it. How do you get everybody, even though they're at war with one another? How do you get 72 countries to go ahead and agree and never violate the fucking Antarctic Treaty? Right? How do you get them all to agree on all the same shit regarding a certain pandemic or a certain panacea for that thing or precautions and everything? And every country was going in lockstep like that, even though we hate them, right? They all hate each other, but they fucking all do the exact same thing. They all agree on those specific things. That's because the orders come from top down, and the illusion is international sovereignty. And now the illusion is going to be personal sovereignty, because you're going to have that taken away the same way as there's no real original corn anymore. Okay, all corn is now patented by someone, and that's because they eliminated the original kind and only now grow the genetically modified. So correlate that information to things that have happened over the last couple of years, and let's take a look at where the fucking rockets go. Where do the fucking rockets go?
They still tell kids that Santa Claus
all of the
flies through the
theories you have
sky
been
in a
told.
reindeer. You know, that's like the beginning of it all. That's like where it originates from. It's like if it's the first big conspiracy. It's the number one that Santa Claus is like one that really just gets under my skin, just because it teaches.
Yeah, well, let me show where these rockets go in, and then we'll get into that, because I got a really interesting thing regarding some of these tales. You're gonna love. You're gonna love it.
This is the real truth about the Bermuda Triangle. All of the theories you have been told are wrong. There is no curse or aliens or sea monster there that is taking down ships and planes. All these theories have been created purposefully to mislead you. The truth is that the Bermuda Triangle is where all the rockets land that fail to break the firmament. The government has been trying to break the firmament for a while, hence Operation Fishbowl, where they sent nukes up into the atmosphere. We can't leave Earth because of this dome, which is why all the pictures of Earth are CGI. When rockets are shot up into the air, they all curve across the firmament and land in the Bermuda Triangle. The government deliberately created these myths about the triangle to keep people from traveling there and discovering the hundreds of rockets that are supposed to be in space. And if anyone does try to travel there, the military will engage and stop you threatening to attack. This is all just a conspiracy theory, but the evidence is very convincing.
No shit.
Huh.
That's all you got to do. Put a little bit of fear into everybody. Where's Santa Claus live? He lives up at the North Pole, where you can't go and check for yourself to see if he really exists. See,
that is weird how they say the North Pole, which is, it's the place where, it'd
well,
be
that
really
all
interesting to
stems.
go to.
It's all a conglomeration. What it's become, a conglomeration of several different fucking myths and fables and shit put together, but some bits of truth. On the Mercator map of the North Pole from the 1500s, when you translate from Latin on the one land that's closest to like Norway and Sweden and shit, it says, "Here is the land of the pygmy men, elves, who stand between 3 and 4 feet high. And also there are giants." That's what it says. I translated it with as best I could with Google Translate. But pygmy men, what's that? So Santa and his elves at the North Pole. We know that Sinterklaas and this whole fucking thing comes down from the Nordic regions.
So do you think that
people knew? The Christmas tree is a representation of the firmament and the North Star. All the lights in the tree represent the stars in the sky, and the top star represents the Polaris, the North Star. That's what that is. That whole celebration ornament is about. And right now, today, of course, is the winter solstice, the shortest day of the year. And this is why we celebrate the sun worship
Happy
of
solstice.
modern Christianity, worshiping the risen sun. And he's died. He'll rise again in 3 days. He'll start his journey back north, and then warming the days as he gets closer and bringing salvation. You see, this whole thing is astrozodiological, the way that they kick it into
Well,
it.
I think the whole thing is,
This is the
like,
real
and that,
truth.
that's why it's important to adhere to the scriptures in, in the physical and in the metaphysical, because, just like Christ, he had 12 disciples.
Yeah.
And so with Christ and his 12 disciples, that makes 13, which is a representation of each moon cycle of the year. And so it, I
They
think
fucked
that
with our time. But what I was going to tell you about these little stories, it reminded me Rudolph. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer is a terrible story to tell children. Okay? Now let's break that story down. Here's this reindeer is born up there at Santa's compound, and he has a visible birth defect, right? And so because he has this birth defect, this mutation, none of the other reindeers will play with him. They won't talk to him. They make fun of him. They tease him about his abnormality, right? And Santa's down for it. He don't care. He don't step in and say anything about, hey, this is wrong or anything. Santa's cool. He don't give a fuck, right? Until that one Christmas night when it was foggy and he couldn't see. And they realized that they could exploit Rudolph for his handicap. And because they could exploit him for his handicap, then they liked him. Only then they liked him because they could use his handicap to their advantage. That's like, haha, Billy's in a wheelchair. Oh, wait, he's letting us ride in it. That's cool. We like him now. Fuck these people.
Well, Owen Benjamin actually covered Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer a couple years ago, and like showed the interview of the guy who created it. He was a little hat grabbler guy, and he was the whole story of Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer is, an anti-Semitic story where Rudolph is meant to be the the one that everyone dislikes and then picks on, and then he saves the day with his bank loans and his Federal Reserve and all that. He comes in and saves the day.
Oh, I'll have to show that in a minute too.
There's a lot of
The
hidden
gingerbread-
messages out there.
The gingerbread man's equally creepy. And did you see the gingerbread man that came up? I think it was there in Virginia, actually. It could have actually been
Yeah,
you,
it happened in
Sav.
Virginia.
Do you have a
The
gingerbread
man
man
was
costume?
running around town.
I was.
I still think that was just a prank.
I don't know. The next day after I saw that, I saw 2 gingerbread man blow-ups in these people's front yard. I was like, oh, I saw that the night before.
Oh, that guy that was going around dressed up in a inflatable fucking gingerbread suit.
Yeah.
And ringing people's doorbells and shit. Can you imagine how? No way I'd be opening my fucking door up to some blowed up gingerbread man. Ain't no way.
He was probably just trying to cheer people up, and everyone was all freaked out because of the climate of the times.
I'd be calling I'd immediately call my dude and go, what did you put in this fucking weed, bro? I just saw this fucking gingerbread man out on my porch and shit.
Yeah, but you got to admit that made a lot of people more happy than mad,
Right? So listen to this guy. And you'd be surprised. Rasta, you ought to stop this shit about boomer this and boomer that. You young fuckers need to shut your goddamn mouth and listen to these fucking guys like me that know what the hell's actually going on, bro. It'll keep you alive.
I don't doubt that. I just, it's just too easy to pick on the boomers.
Listen to this. Yeah, you're going to be one. Don't worry.
Most of the boomers are passed away.
Yeah, they are. What is it?
No, see, you all don't
Holy
want to
fucking God. You start talking every time I hit the play button.
Well, howdy. Chore time. Wintertime, I haul water. 2 loads a day. Empty the ice out of the troughs and make sure everybody's got fresh, drinkable water every day. no matter how fucking cold it is. Made me think of the boys in Davos in their last meeting, where one of them rich motherfuckers decided to get on the stage and tell folks that he thought they had the right to monetize all the fresh water. It's time we chase them fuckers into the salt water and don't let them crawl back out. Every member of the World Economic Forum needs to answer to all of us. We don't need to answer to them. I love each and every one of you. We got to stop this stuff before it gets on any further. They've had enough at their game. It's time we spin the board and chase them into the sea. Stay the course, folks. Resist the fucking evil.
Keep on booming.
Hot damn.
No,
I agree with that message.
I agree with it, but I bet his solution to the problem though is to vote for Trump and trust the plan.
Yeah,
Did he sound like he was a voter?
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
think so?
I would bet. Yeah, I would bet he probably is.
You think I am?
No, I don't.
I never have, and I never will. You
I
know
voted
why?
this last time for the first
You know
time
why?
ever.
You know why?
Put a one.
Because
Hold on,
I don't need a master. I can govern myself. And I've known since I was young that no votes mattered. It's just a pretend game so everybody feels like they're included. Because so many people need to feel like they're included in something.
I mean, if we haven't figured that out by now, I mean, it's like, how can you even say you have any truth? You're a truther of any kind if you still think that the voting system works.
I never believed it did.
Yeah. No, it's kind of, it's no different than watching sports ball. Which
well, listen, when you vote, Rasta, when you vote, here's what happens, right? It's just like my man just put up here. It only encourages them. You're actually giving your consent. Whether you vote yes or no, you're still giving your consent for whatever the outcome comes. Okay? That's why they want you so badly to vote, because then you've given them consent. Even if you don't agree with it, you vote no for something to pass, but it passes, you still are going along with it because of the fact that you engaged with it. Okay, you entered into contract. Yep. Whereas if you don't, what the fuck are they going to do?
Yep. No,
it's like, we're not interested.
That's all.
So they have a vote for president and they got douchebag A and douchebag B. What do? Vote for the lesser of two evils or decide that no evil? And by deciding no evil means that you have to go not vote, right?
Yeah. And that's
a good movie you should watch, Rasta, is Brewster's Millions. If you watch Brewster's Millions in there, in that movie, and I think that was made back in the 80s, that's Richard Pryor in it. And he ran this campaign to vote for none of the above. And everybody voted for him. They wanted him, so he had to bail out. But the thing is you go watch that movie, you'll see a lot of this mumbo jumbo happening now that was made a movie of back in the 80s.
Yep. Do you remember the one with Eddie Murphy, the Distinguished Gentleman?
Yep.
Oh, that one sounds very familiar.
Okay, so what it was is he has like a couple of partners. They live in Florida, and they're like grifters. They run scams, right?
Oh yeah.
And Eddie Murphy happens to have the same name as this guy who's been in the Congress for like years and years. He's just been voted in on name recognition, right? But the guy dies, and so he runs. And he doesn't show his picture on any of the campaign shit. He just, I think his name was Jeff Jeffries. Jeff Jeffrey for Senate, and people are like, yeah, I'll vote for Jeff Jeffries. And so everybody's shocked as shit when they vote and it's a black dude. Well, he gets in the Congress. It's kind of an adaptation of Mr. Smith Goes to Washington, except funny. And it's like the guy, we're getting ready to have a vote. We better go. And, one of his fellow colleagues. And he's like, what are we voting on? And he's like, I'm not sure. I think it's on this bill. No, I think it's going to be on this bill. And it's like, oh, I don't know. I'm just going to vote. And they go into the thing. And then he's sitting there, and these lobbyists are talking, his assistant's talking to him and says, now this lobby over here will give you such and such an amount of money to vote yes on this bill. And this outfit over here wants to contribute, this amount of money to vote no on it. And then he's like, here's the advantage of taking this guy's money and voting no. And here's the advantage of taking this guy. And it's like, it's not even about the bill anymore. It's about what's the best deal you're going to get. You're not even weighing out the legislation. You're weighing out your own fucking pocketbook.
Yeah. Well, it's just
a lot
so
of
asinine.
exposure in comedy.
The way these politicians, they can do the insider trading on the stock market, and they can come up that way. They get all the like you say, all these lobbyists who lobbyists shouldn't even exist.
It's
they should be.
Listen, we've let it happen. And how do we let it happen? We've been propagandized. Listen, we've been propagandized and hypnotized through what they call an education system, okay, which is nothing more than indoctrination. And
that's
mesmerized
why we need to run them to the sea.
To the point where, we're the greatest country in the world, and voting is a great thing, and you should always vote, even for the, vote for the lesser of two evils, which of course is still evil. So what are you really saving? And this whole brainwashing thing, meanwhile, hypnotized, how do they get you into that? They've filled your head with nothing. They've taught you a whole lot about nothing. And a lot of that nothing is this bullshit about a constant reminder. You go into a classroom, there's your globe. Don't forget you live on a spinning ball daily. They got this fucking reminder coming to you in one form or another, because it's the keystone to the rest of all this deception. Because if you're going to entertain that ridiculous nonsense, and you've actually been forced to, then you'll accept anything from that same authoritative source. As long as it comes from the right source, you're going to accept it. Like the Ministry
your
of Truth.
Allegiance to their flag.
Right. Here's
a lot of indoctrination.
This is what George Orwell said right before he died.
But he left one final warning. You once claimed that you have an ability to face unpleasant facts. Is that what you've demonstrated in 1984 by drawing an accurate portrait of the future?
Something like 1984 could actually happen. This is the direction the world is going in at the present time. In our world, there will be no emotions except fear, rage, triumph, and self-abasement. The sex instinct will be eradicated. We shall abolish the orgasm. There will be no loyalty except loyalty to the party. But always there will be the intoxication of power. Always, at every moment, there will be the thrill of victory, the sensation of trampling on an enemy who is helpless. If you want a picture of the future, imagine a boot stamping on a human face forever. The moral to be drawn from this dangerous nightmare situation is a simple one. Don't let it happen. It depends on you.
Well, we didn't heed that, did we?
Well, see, I think it's important.
But he left
that that we don't, like No Despair Bear says in the chat, that we don't manifest this stuff into reality, and our power of manifestation is extreme. We, even just a few of us, if we focus on the good, the true, and the beautiful, and manifest that entire reality, and focus on building, and not putting our intent in these conflicts happening and all the things that are going on in this world. if we just don't accept that entire reality, then it won't be allowed to transpire.
Well, that's
And
the whole thing too, is the whole thing is based around fear. Okay, at one level or another, and fears upon fears upon fears. And manifestation can only manifest within a negative light when one is in a state of fear. So when we remove the falsehoods, the untruths, and the false fear, false emotion appearing real, FEAR, when we remove that away, then we can achieve exactly what you're talking about. Exactly what you're talking about. But we have to get rid of this vibration of fear that they're continuously trying to put you under. Okay. And it's on all these different levels that they do it, whether it be from an imaginary rock from space going to hit the earth, a rock the size of 33 sheep, narrowly missing the earth, or whether it be from, oh, be careful because this kind of a thing is coming, or ISIS is going to get you, or they're going to nuke us, or they're going to run us into nuclear war, or all this fear-based shit all the time. Always, crime, be careful, Black Lives Matter is attacking, blah, 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 blah. And that's all you get. And so consequently, people start looking for things to be afraid of. I've actually seen people go looking for things to be afraid of.
Yeah.
Because they get addicted to that cortisol that rushes to your brain in that state of fear, that adrenaline. And the problem with being in that state of mind is you can't think rationally, and they don't want you to think rationally. So they take away as much of your time as possible so you can't think rationally on any given subject. They keep you busy so that you can't be focused on any one thing for any great length of time. And why would you need to? After all, you done learned everything you need to know. You got this here piece of paper that says so, right? It's the whole thing. And it's part of the whole Jesuit plan.
Yeah. Everybody goes to work and they don't have time to think past what they're going to make for dinner and what the shopping list is going to be and what bills they have to pay. And yep, they're on the hamster wheel.
Well, and because of this idea
for their life, getting nowhere.
When you show this crazy son of a bitch's picture up on any screen someplace, people look at him and go, oh, there's that Einstein. Boy, he was really smart. Was he? Was he?
No.
Was he really?
No, he wasn't.
I mean, no.
He looks like a goofball.
He is a goofball.
Total.
He wore women's shoes. He took his Nobel Prize money, paid off his wife, married his cousin who already had 2 daughters, and he referred to them as his little harem. Okay, This guy was a fruitcake, right? Tried to convince everybody that there's something called space-time that can be bent somehow because of the mass of an object in space. The most ridiculous bullshit anybody's ever concocted in their life.
What's wild too is we all know somebody who has owned a poster of of him on their walls and stuff. Like he's like a rock star.
Yes, he's been promoted. This guy had a great PR campaign, and for them to, oh, this guy is the smartest man in the world, blah, 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 blah. Is he really? Because he dreamed up some kind of shit. He dreamed up some kind of shit and you bought it. And I mean,
now Neil deGrasse Tyson's on that same level. Like I was walking my dog up the street the other night and I just happened to look over at somebody's house in their front window, and on their big screen TV in their house was Neil deGrasse's ugly face on the screen. And I'm just like, they're just sitting in their living room, just getting indoctrinated by the Neil deGrasse.
Einstein was smart. How do you know he was smart? We've never seen the man ever speak. Every time he's ever seen on camera saying shit, anything, he's always reading it. So where do you get this idea?
Yeah, he's like Stephen Hawking. He never even had to say a word.
You think that he's smart because he said some shit that you don't understand. And there's some other people that pretend that they do understand. But when it got broke down to look at what he was really talking about, they found out he was full of shit. oh, the mathematics isn't working out right. These things in the heavens aren't behaving the way that we predict that they should. So that can only mean not that our math and our theory is wrong. No, no, no. That can only mean that there's this invisible shit called dark matter that's out there somehow affecting it. So yeah, we're going to go with that. Come on.
I do like his E equals MC squared though, because
Oh yeah,
when
that's
you
awesome.
when you eat some E and then pick up the microphone, then you're squared away.
So
That's how Eminem, he would take some
E
E and then be an
E
MC.
equals MC. Listen, E equals MC squared means Einstein married his cousin twice. Okay. Here's the thing about the Jesuits taking our shit away.
Scientists and laymen weren't matching what so-called astronomers were telling us. And so Einstein fabricated the theory of relativity to claim that your reality was relative to the time-space continuum. It is purposefully almost impossible to understand. You're just supposed to trust science and astronomy. The Jesuits then jumped on with dinosaurs and Charles Darwin to claim the Earth is billions of years old. And wherever Darwin's theory of evolution had holes, Jesuits stepped up to fill the gap. Jesuits like Pierre Teilhard de Chardin, the father of the New Age, after fabricating the ape-like pre-humans that we supposedly came from, even students of evolution became concerned that there was a, quote, missing link between primitive apes and modern humans.
Not that, oh, we're wrong. No, there must be a missing link.
A discovery was made in 1912 to bridge that gap. Having been found in Piltdown, East Sussex, England, it was named Piltdown Man. Unfortunately, it was also found to be a hoax. The skull of a small human with the altered mandible and teeth of an orangutan. Sometime later, paleontologist Stephen Jay Gould uncovered the father of that hoax, a Jesuit priest named Pierre Teilhard de Chardin.
Aren't priests...
De Chardin.
Wait a second. Aren't priests and shit supposed to be going along with the Bible? And the Bible doesn't say that God made a monkey that turned into a man. So what the fuck are these priests doing out there promoting an idea of a big bang and, faking goddamn monkey skulls to look like it's, oh, look, we found a missing link. These people.
There are many such examples in archaeology and paleontology, and yet no one asks, why would so-called scientists be fabricating evidence? The goal was to discredit the Bible, and it has been resoundingly
She went to like this Jesuit school.
Successful. Without the spinning ball Earth, Darwinian dinosaur cosmic accident, the Bible is a science textbook. With it, critics laugh and question the Bible, and instead look to human authorities to save their souls, such as the Vicar of Christ himself, who is, for the first time in Roman Catholic history, a Jesuit priest.
Yeah, that's not to be forgotten too. Didn't you just say it's okay for priests to marry gay people too? The Pope did. That's like
everyone keeps pointing.
Scientists and laymen.
So are the Masons Catholic? All Catholics?
No.
I'm just asking because I see the enemy as something totally different than all these people, because they got their secrets and they're going to be beheaded or whatever the hell if they tell the secrets, and all these secrets that are out here aren't really the secrets. It's just a whole lot of bullshit.
That's right.
Think about it.
Right.
They're sworn to this secrecy, but yet all their secrets are all over the place.
That's why, they're always telling us something when like even like the
I just don't get it. It's just like that George Orwell
are for something much different than what they're telling us.
Just like George Orwell, he was no futuristic person that saw into the future. He knew information. He had the inside scoop. He had to put it out there in a soft sell in a book so that it could be told so they could continue with what they were doing.
Yep.
You know, they have to find a way to tell us a movie, a book, or this or that on the news, right?
Absolutely right.
So be skeptical when you're looking back and saying, hey, it's these people, or it's this person.
Yeah,
or
they're
this
all.
person had some kind of special power.
They're
could see
different.
into the future.
They're different facets of one organization. They're just different fingers of the same hand. You know,
I've got to drop off here for a minute. My phone is getting hot. I don't know what's going on with the charger thing. It feels like it's gonna explode or something. So
might be the Palladians trying to contact you. You better take that call.
Yeah, I've already spoken with them today. They're, they don't have anything else to say to me right now.
No, all right.
But yeah, I might jump back on here if my phone doesn't explode and it actually charges. It's been plugged into the charger, and it, instead of going up, it went from 5%. Now it's down to 1%.
Oh no!
And it's plugged in, but it's getting hot. So I don't understand. But anyways.
Well, all right. Good luck. Once you get charged up, come on back.
All right.
All right.
Good night.
All righty then. Oh my God. Yeah. So, where was I?
Oh, we was talking about you had an Einstein thingy up in Oregon.
Oh yeah, the Jesuits.
Something else.
The Jesuits. Yeah, I mean, Christ Almighty, and they're right in bed too. I mean, you find out that they're all connected, like you said.
Yeah.
You know, they are all connected. No, I don't care. They act like they're at odds with one another, but they're not. You know, they're not really. And a blind man can see that, but they keep you confused, you know, with these little groups. No, it was that finger. No, it was this finger. No, it was the whole fucking hand that did it. Okay.
Right.
That's what's happening.
Well, the funniest thing I ever heard on a video I was cop watching this video, right? Somebody was cop watching. I was watching the video. And the dumb cop said he had the car under arrest. Even told the guy that the car was under arrest and was being detained. And that the kid, if he wanted to, the young guy there, that he could go if he wanted to. I'm like, what the hell? But yes, it is the car because it is the state's property, right? They claim it if it's registered, whatever.
You gave it to him.
Yeah. But I thought that was hilarious. I think everybody ought to demand, since the state owns it, that the state pay the insurance and any kind of upkeep it might need, and a gas card for everybody. I only think that's fair, right? We want something. They didn't give us anything. They fine us and charge us and overcharge us and triple, double, you name it.
Listen, people getting wary of those electric cars. I saw somebody.
Oh yeah, I seen one that burned. That was crazy.
I've been in that. It's been happening a lot. And when we went to the Mimsland the other night, they have 2 charging stations there by where we parked. And I parked as far away from where there was 2 cars sitting there charging, and I parked as far away from them as I could in that little parking lot. I was like, there ain't no way I won't let that shit catch fire while I'm eating and burn my car up, man. There ain't no way.
Yeah. I don't see that to be very viable.
Ain't that a nice Jeep I got?
Yeah, it is. Very
I love
nice.
that thing. I love that thing, man. I've had that now 8.5 years and ain't had a lick of trouble with it. Not a bit. That thing is just fucking chugs right along, man. Drives like a dream. I love it. This thing I found Let me see when I got this. Heliocentric nonsense addressed. Now, see, this is the thing. When you track these guys into a discussion on gravity, they once again try to trick you. Okay. And you say, like stupid ass Neil deGrasse Tyson, right? Prove gravity, right? And they go, oh, and they'll drop something. Say there. It's like, no, you just showed something dropping to the ground. You say gravity made that happen, but what is gravity? Show me gravity. Prove gravity.
Right.
Right. And in order to do that, you have to isolate gravity as an independent variable. Right. And in order to know that you've isolated it as an independent variable, you have to be able to manipulate it in some way, right? Which we can do, because buoyancy and density it's not a theory, it's a fact.
Right.
Okay. It's evident every day in your entire life. Everything in your life revolves around those principles of buoyancy and density, believe it or not. A fluid pressure system that's at the right pressure for you to be able to exist, an air pressure necessary for liquid water,
Right.
right? It's all very carefully put together. And in order to have that air pressure, you have to have some kind of containment. Okay. And we already know that gas is not affected by gravity as what they call gravity, because, you know, here's some air supposedly being held to the earth by gravity. Right. But I could take a sample of that air and trap it in a box and put that box inside of a vacuum chamber, remove the surrounding medium, and then open the box. Is that air going to stay inside that little box? No, it's going to fill the vacuum chamber. So why didn't gravity?
Well, I wonder what it would do if you took air from sea level and took it up on the top of Mount Everest in a bottle. If it
would explode. Listen, it could explode, or it would be great. It would be a greater pressure against the fucking glass. I can tell you that, right? Yes. Yeah. Okay. M-ball, air has weight. Great. Air has weight. That's wonderful. Now show that air with a 9.8 meters per second downward acceleration. Okay. 9.8 meters per second squared downward acceleration. After all, that's what you claim is the gravitational constant, right? Okay. So what is it? What's the weight of helium? How much does helium weigh, M-ball? And in what medium? Weight is nothing more than the relative density of an object within a given medium. That's it. You lose. I win, Dreamy. I won.
Awesome. What'd you win?
Long hit. Bong hit. You see, everything doesn't fall down. Not everything falls down. It depends on the medium that you're in. Like Nick's orange out here with the air. Of course, the orange is heavier than the air that it displaces, so it goes toward relative density. Which way is it relative density? That way, down. Down is down, up is up, right? So we're standing in the bottom of a 10-foot pool holding the orange because we put cement shoes on Nick Volt and put him in the 10-foot end of the pool holding his orange. When he lets go of his orange, what's going to happen? It's going to go up to the surface. Why did it go up to the surface? Is there gravity at the surface of the water? No, the orange went toward relative density, just like the example of the two balloons in the automobile. When he accelerates, the helium balloon does the opposite as the air balloon. Why? When he accelerates, the helium balloon goes forward, because the relative density of the air inside the car increased toward the back of the car and decreased toward the front of the car momentarily enough that it affected the helium that it wanted to seek relative density.
Right.
It's not a difficult concept, but these people, if they don't have their magical gravity, then they don't have planets in space. They don't have any of their fucking orbital mechanics, none of that horse shit. Okay. And that blows all their crap apart. Also, I want somebody to tell me what kind of gravity a hydrogen atom could possibly have that it would gather together more hydrogen atoms into a fucking mass so huge that it would collapse in on itself, all while being in a vacuum, right? Rather than these gas particles expanding to fill the empty void, they some reason collect together into a mass that becomes so heavy on itself for some reason. There's so much gravity going on that it crushes in and causes nuclear fusion. And that's what's going on with our sun. And it's like, what kind of fantasy horseshit gobbledygook is that? How in the world are you ever going to get a gas to form together into a volume without a containment? You're not. You're never going to. And the only way you're going to get gas to form into the shape of a ball is if the container is the shape of a ball.
Right.
All right. So
Yeah,
this is
some stuff is
nonsense at
proven
every
all
level.
right. You know, there's many things that are just proven over and over and over again. We utilize them daily. And that's why I don't get why people are so messed up in the head that, you know, even over time themselves, they haven't said, hey, wait a minute, you know, what is this crap, you know, that they're telling, because this is not how this works, you know, and actually take a look at what they've been lied to about.
Yes, M-Ball said that the air pressure at sea level is 14.7 pounds per square inch. That is absolutely correct. I'm going to illustrate something else that's really cool too. When you go down to about a mile deep in the ocean, the pressure is very extreme. But as you rise toward the surface, the pressure becomes less and less and less. We have what's known as a pressure gradient within the contained volume of water known as the ocean. You see, it's about the displacement, my friend. It's all about the displacement. So eat that, right? So check this out.
Tell me, is that moon 65,530 times as bright as it is from Earth? Of course not. So one thing or the other isn't true. Either we've never been to the moon or the moon is far closer. What can't be true is the moon is the distance that they tell us and that man has been there. Another way that we can determine if the distances we are given are correct is to imagine the sun, I don't know, say it's 1,000 miles away. The sun would take up the entire day sky, correct? Okay, so let's make it now 93 million miles away. Okay, now if you hold a dime out at arm's length, that's about the size of the sun at 93 million miles or 8 light minutes. So now double that distance. Well, that's now a light 16 minutes. Okay, double it again. Well, now we're at a light half hour. Okay, double that again, and we're now at a light hour, and I doubt you'd be able to see the sun. But let's multiply that by 24, and now finally we're at a light day. No chance you would see the sun. But now we still have to multiply that by 365 times more to get to a light year. Think about that, people. How would we see any star considering no star is that close? Nonsense, mathematical reality. I mean, really, to think that we could see 25 trillion miles, remember that a trillion seconds is 31,000 years. Think about that.
Actually, it's 31,780 something years, but that's
I
close.
realize that the closest star, other than the sun, is 25 trillion miles. Yole. Now, wait a minute, you yell. Wouldn't the planets have to change as well? Well, of course. Their orbits, sizes, and distance would all be scaled appropriately. Here's an easy way to see it in action. Take these numbers 0, 3, 6, and start doubling. 12, 24, 56, 108. Okay, now add 4 to each. So 0 becomes 4, 3 becomes 7, 6 becomes 10, 12 becomes 16, 24 becomes 28, 56 becomes 60, and 108 becomes 112. Now divide by 10. So 4 becomes 0.4, 7 becomes 0.7, 10 becomes 1.0, 16 becomes 1.6, 28 becomes 2.8, 60 becomes 6.0, and 111 or 112 becomes 11.2. Now, does that look familiar? Well, it should. 0.4 is Mercury's AU. 0.7 is Venus. 1.0 is Earth. 1.6 is Mars. 2.8 is Ceres. 6.0 is Jupiter, and 11.2 is Saturn. Now, of course, those are approximate numbers as they change based on their distance from the sun, which is changing all the time. So now you have the distances from the sun, 93 million miles times the AU. So Mercury is 37.2 million, Venus is 65.1 million, Earth is 93 million, Mars is 148.8 million, Jupiter is 558 million, and Saturn's about a billion. Of course, you can then figure out exactly what their distance from Earth is, with Mercury being 56 million, Venus being 26 million, Mars being 34 million, and Jupiter being 367 million miles from Earth. But what if one AU is actually 3,567 miles, not 93 million? Well, 3,567 is to 93 million as 1 is to 26,072. So scale it all by 1 26,072nd, or I'm not really sure. Then you can even figure out the distance from the Earth. So Mercury is 2,147 miles, Venus is 997, Mars is 1,304, all miles from Earth. Now wait, wouldn't they need to be smaller? And, well, of course, scaling invariance. So Mercury is actually 2,147 miles away, and with its angular size, it would come out to 0.11 miles, so that would be 603 feet in diameter. And Venus at 997 miles from Earth would have a 0.28 mile diameter, or 1,520 feet. And Jupiter would be 14,076 miles away and 3.40 miles wide. And we can check our work as well, because 3.4 miles is 1/10 of the sun size at 33 miles in diameter, which matches the current model, with Jupiter 84,000 miles wide and the sun 860,000 miles wide. No, you cry. Give me my Santa back. Wouldn't gravity be different? Well, would it? Well, here's the thing. Whatever amount of gravity has been given to the Earth or the sun or any of the other planets is based off mass. Well, we can easily just change the mass of the sun. Who is weighing it? The answer is no one. And we can change the mass of the Earth. Who is weighing it? Cavendish in his shed? Give me a break. And quit it with your religious stories. It's becoming silly. But clearly, the silliest thing ever said is
math is reality,
which is the biggest load of bull ever stated as fact.
Yep. So just kind of reiterate, you can scale. It's like these people say, "Oh, I've seen the International Space Station go by." You saw something go by. You don't know how far away it is. You don't know how big it is. You don't know how fast it's going. You've been told. But let's face it, I could do all of those things, scale it down by 1/10, and you would be none the wiser of it. Not 1 minute. Not for 1 minute
Is
could
that
you
moon
be any
65?
wiser to it. Because you don't have any way of actually knowing. You're just going by what you've been told. And of course,
saying what the sun is made of and making up a bunch of crap about the sun. I mean, come on.
Yep.
Nobody can go there. You ain't been there. You have no clue what it's made of.
Nope.
You can't get close enough to it.
No, yeah. Well, it's like, can you actually get, is it something you could get to? Regardless, I mean, we think what we're seeing is a solid actual object in the sky, but is it? Or is it just a point of energy?
Yeah, I just think it's light. I mean, you know, I don't think that it's a physical object. I don't think the moon necessarily is a physical object either, because, you know.
No, well,
I've just watched the moon for a lot of years, but the sun, you know, I mean, it could be, but.
Well, the thing that gets me about it is that, and this is what's so important, is the fact that they do like how a lot of adults will do to a kid. A kid will be pestering you. What's this? What's this? What's this? And you just tell them something to shut them up.
Right.
Right. And I think that's what they do, is they tell you something to shut you up. You know, instead of saying where you don't know what the sun is.
Right.
Right.
Well, if the sun was what they are claiming it is, then their gravity fails miserably.
Well, that whole thing is just a load of bunk.
Well, I'm just saying, you know, if something that heavy's up there, it would fall. Their gravity makes no sense.
Well, yeah, we don't even know. Yeah, you have to know even what it is. I mean, what forces are at play? They just assume It's all based on assumptions. But once you knock through, see, you can get really complicated with this shit. And that's the thing, is they always want you looking at the fucking sky, right? I'm trying to figure out, all right, what am I standing on? So what's the best thing to do? I don't know. Go look inside your tennis shoes. Or, you know, hey, I know a good way to figure that out. We'll look at a light bulb. You know, I mean, it's like, let's study the thing that you're on. You know, the assumption that we see these things in the sky, and so therefore that means I'm on one of those things that I see in the sky.
Well, I like the moon and the sun. I like the sky. It's beautiful.
It is.
I always loved earthquakes and lightning and the sun, the moon, all that stuff.
Well, they
I
go.
mean, it's beautiful. You know, it's.
They
Well, I
want.
just think creation in itself is amazing. All aspects of it, how it works synergistically, and everything that's needed is right here for us, given to us. All we have to do is love it and appreciate it, and you know, it feeds us, clothes us, takes care of us, right? I don't know what all the fear porn needs to be, you know.
Right.
And
right.
I'm with that one cowboy dude that said, "Run them to the ocean, never let them back on land."
Yeah,
I'm with
I'm
them
that
on
way.
that because, you know, this is a beautiful, beautiful place.
They're enemies of Earth. They're enemies of humanity. They really are. They're demons.
Yeah.
You know, and they want us to think of them as gods, and the crazy shit they do. You know, remember, Alex Jones was right, man, on a lot of shit. You know,
Right.
he's a gatekeeper, but he was right on a lot of shit back before they got him. And this like here, it's so mix. Why would you want to mix up fucking humans and monkeys?
Serious ethical issues are being raised after it emerged that US and Chinese scientists have implanted human cells into monkey embryos for practical ethics. I asked her if we should see the embryos as human at all.
I think when we create an organism that is a mix between a human and a monkey, we're really not sure at all what sort of organism we have created. I mean, is it a human? Is it a monkey? Is it something in between? And that raises ethical issues because we don't know how we should treat these creatures ethically. Can we simply use them in scientific experiments? Can we destroy them in experiments when we really don't know what sort of organism they are? About us not being sure what sort of organism we create, how we should treat it, is not so much of a problem for the research we're discussing here, because in that research, as you mentioned, the human-monkey chimeras.
What an ethical mess. According to 2 papers published in National Science Review, scientists in China have successfully cloned monkeys with genetic disease symptoms. Researchers from the Chinese Academy of Sciences used the CRISPR-Cas9 method on in vitro fertilized monkey embryos. With no BMAL1 to help manage their circadian rhythm, the resulting monkeys exhibited a wide range. After taking a fibroblast from the gene-edited monkey, scientists used somatic cell nuclear transfer to replace the nucleus of a monkey egg cell with a fibroblast nucleus. 325 embryos were implanted in 65 surrogate monkeys. All 5 cloned monkeys carried the altered BMAL1 gene introduced in the donor monkey.
For biologists, this term describes any organism whose body consists of cells from 2 different organisms. Why am I telling you about this tonight? Because scientists recently tried creating the world's first human-monkey chimera.
This is exactly what scientists. They integrated human cells into the embryos of a macaque monkey. In simple terms, they created embryos that were part monkey and part human. What happened next? The embryos were grown in the open in a laboratory for 20 days. About it. We still don't fully know what the drawbacks or benefits of creating a human-monkey hybrid could be, but
so then why are you doing it? Right? We don't know what the benefits of that could be. Then, okay, so Why are you dreaming up this crazy shit wanting to mix up monkeys and people and shit? What the fuck, man?
I say that it's like this, Sovereign. I don't really buy it because I'm going to use fish as an example. Because I used to have aquariums and I had a lot of different kinds of fish in them. And even if I didn't have like the two of the same fish, they didn't start breeding in the tank with other fish of a different type, you know, like the guppies weren't breeding with the sharks, you know what I mean?
Right.
So I have to call, you know, into question their ability to do that in reality. You know what I mean? Look outside, you know, you see all the birds. There's blue jays and joncos and cardinals and all that. Do they
Right.
go out there and just mix up and become whatever? No, they don't. It's unnatural. So, yeah, it would be very difficult to see them actually being able to mix that up. You know what I mean? Because it's not the same. It's
You
not the
know,
same critter.
you know something that I noticed this year and last year was kind of the same too. Well, no, last year was different. This last summer, there was like I didn't see many birds, but then here at the end of the year, I saw like I had bald eagles out here, right?
Yeah.
But I haven't seen now. I live in a rural area where there's a lot of cows around here. There's a lot of chicken houses around here, right?
Yeah.
I have seen like hardly any flies at all. And normally it's like I have one of those guns that shoots salt
Yeah.
to shoot flies. I love that thing. So it's fun. I've got pretty good. I've got a couple of them while they were in the air. I was pretty proud of myself. But it shoots salt like a shotgun, right? And really great way to get flies. And I haven't had to use it at all hardly this year. I think I used it maybe 3 times, killed maybe 3 or 4 flies. And the year before that, man, I was every day because letting the dogs in and out and shit, the flies would come in. And it was like, oh man, I had a good time, man. Especially if they in the ceiling fan, there's a chain for the light and there's a chain for the fan, right?
Yeah.
And I'd see a fly and that thing would land on one of those chains like that. You sit there and take aim on him and pop like that. And you see that little fucker go flying off in the distance and shit and go somewhere later
Well,
on.
I think we have lost quite a few of our bugs and moths and whatnot and birds. And the reason I say that is because when we went to New Mexico, we drove there. So like at night when we stopped to get gas or whatever, there is no bugs. And used to, when you would stop to get gas and it was at nighttime, there would be bugs galore, you know, moths flying all over the lights, you know, and whatnot. There'd be moths on the ground because some are dead, you know. Beetles, all kinds of stuff. And yeah, there was just nothing. I mean, nothing flying. And I'm thinking, damn. And I don't think we've had that much of an increase in bats that they're keeping the bugs under serious control.
Look at this from ABC News. What to know about holiday heart syndrome? Rates of heart arrhythmias tend to spike during December holidays. Well, that's the first time I've ever heard that. When did that suddenly start happening? Holy God. People haven't woke up by now. I don't know what to say. I'm sorry. I mean, at this point, even the fucking censorship on it is stupid. Why are you even bothering?
Do you have a bird feeder?
What's that?
Do you have a bird feeder?
Yeah, but I didn't put out any feed this year.
Put out some sunflower seeds or something and see if the birds come. Because this year, usually I feed them in the winter, but this year I put out sunflower seeds. Oh my gosh, it seems like I've got a ton of little birds right now. I mean, they drive me nuts at the point in time. They get really loud out there, all chirping, trying to get seed. But yeah, for a couple years here, it just seemed like where the hell the birds go, you know? But this year I put out seed, and again, and this time they came. Last year was just very few.
Yeah, this year I didn't put out any bird feed. It was like, I got better things to spend $20 than on a fucking bag of bird seed. And but the year before, man, they would attack it. I've got one of those ones that it's set up so that if something too heavy gets on the perch, it closes up the dispenser.
Oh.
And so I've got it set for, the heaviest birds, but if a squirrel tries to get on there, then it just closes up on him. You can't get in it.
Yeah.
But
I do love my squirrels. I mean,
year.
I don't have the ones that I used to because we've got too many cats now. But I used to feed the squirrels. I won't feed them now because that would have to come down and get too close to the cats. But they are excellent to have around because we have hawks, sparrow hawks, and they come and chase the little birds and try to catch them. And the squirrels would warn them when they would come. So I actually really loved having the little security guards around. They'd start barking and all the little birds would go run and hide. Then I'd see the sparrowhawk and I'm like, oh, that's what all that was about.
Oh no. I think this is another Darwin Award. I think we got a Darwin Award. Here's what happens. God damn this thing. Oh! Fucking leg. Broke his leg. Oh! That dude is going to be fucked up for life, man.
Oh, wow.
That was terrible. Usually that's what happens on those, but people, let's drink some alcohol and do some retarded shit.
That was crazy.
Oh, look, I found a globe troll. You want to see him? Hang on. It's McToon. No, say it's not. It's McToon. That's fucking hilarious. I gotta have that. I'm gonna load that up because I've got the little baby.
Right.
I might as well put that one on too. That's a good one. It's only
that
5
baby's
seconds.
hilarious.
Oh my god. Yeah. I'm cracking up with that. Oh my god, this guy. Who can tell me who this guy is? Somebody who can tell me who this guy is? And I gotta check my poll over here too. So my poll said in the let me see, we want to so in the poll I asked if you vote, and only 27% said yes. I figured that would be somewhere close, because I think a lot of my audience realizes what a feudal concept that actually is and what it actually means. Anybody who can tell me who this guy is, that I have up on the screen right now. Somebody's got to know. You don't know, Dreamy?
No.
That was the famous Gene Rosen. And he was the guy that when Sandy Hook happened, he had all the kids there at his house, and he had all these plushy toys for him to play with and everything. And he was so saddened, and they told him about their teacher getting killed, and he cried. And I can't believe people don't remember this character, man.
I didn't really go down that rabbit hole. I seen stuff on the news, and I saw a video that was posted by other people, right? But I saw enough in the first few videos that I saw right after that, and I'm like, yeah, right. I questioned why the father was running around in green military uniform, and then he's all dressed in a suit.
The sloppy sniper, the one
Yes, that dude.
the one that was carrying his AR by the magazine.
I was like, he's not military when I saw that. And then the fact that he put on a suit and said his child was inside. They wouldn't let him near that place, you know.
He was carrying the fucking rifle by the magazine.
Well, he was.
I was watching that guy. What? No, you don't.
I saw him when he slung it on his back and whatnot, and the other guy was right there. So I know it wasn't loaded because the way he handled it, he could have shot somebody.
Ooh.
I mean, he was careless as hell with that sucker.
He was. He did not follow any kind of firearm safety protocols whatsoever. You know, that was the first giveaway. But yeah, why is one of the dads in a SWAT uniform? And he looks so out of place in that helmet too, because he's
military uniform.
That like kind of fat face. And I'm sorry, fat face people in helmets look funny to me. They always have. Even when I was in the Army, I'd see some fat guy with a helmet and I'd just crack me up. I don't know. So we had this one. I told you about that kid with the roller coaster head, right? Yeah, we had in basic training.
I think so.
Oh my God, that was terrible. This guy had like this deformed head. It was like a peanut in the shell, right? Where it was like a globe in the front and a globe in the back and like a valley dip in the middle, kind of from front to back that way. And nobody, I guess, noticed it until they, shaved his head. And they were fitting us for all of our gear. And the drill sergeant was calling him roller coaster head, and they was mad at him because they couldn't find a helmet to fit him. And so they were making him do push-ups because his head was shaped funny.
Yeah,
and I thought that was fucked up, man. This dude can't help the way his head's shaped, and you're punishing his ass because he's got fucking peanut shaped head, man. It's fucked up. I was like, how do you do that shit? But yeah.
They when my ex, when he told me how they belittle people and the things that the sergeants would say, and
man.
It blew my mind, and I just knew it was to destroy their souls, to just crush their spirits.
It's trauma-based mind control.
Yeah, very traumatizing.
Yeah, it is. It's terrible. It is. It's terrible.
That's why when he asked me if I wanted to join with him so we could be in it together, I asked him, who do you want to kill who first? Because I wouldn't tolerate that crap.
No.
I even knew that. I knew that about me way back when I was before I was even 18.
Oh,
why would I do something like that?
That's one of the worst things where you got to stand there and let some fucking retard tell you what to do.
Right.
And knowing that the only reason they can tell you what to do is because they have a certain number of stripes on their arm.
Right.
And this guy's barely got enough fucking brains to open a pop bottle, and it's like, fuck. Yeah.
And to think, I mean, when they come at young men like that, they're barely old enough to really blow their nose. And so they're still thinking, okay, I've just left mommy and daddy, and now I have another daddy, and, and now they're being beaten to the ground before they have a chance to even think.
This is what people don't understand. That's just another added layer of onion to the brainwashing. So people that go into the military, they get that one on top of it. It's like an extra layer. There are so many layers of this shit that's on people that they don't realize. Once you start peeling them away and you start coming privy to what the real fucking deal is, man, is it liberating, right? And
well, my son came to me. He wanted to join the Navy.
Oh, God.
A recruiter showed up and wanted him to join the Navy. So he was considering it and everything, and he comes home and he tells me, I said, well, you tell the recruiter if he puts everything in writing that he's telling you, that and it's all notarized and everything, and y'all sign it, then I'll be okay with it. But if he won't, I said, then tell him no thank you. He went back and the recruiter told him, well, I don't think you're a good fit for the military. Sent him on his way. He wasn't willing to sign squat. I told my son, I said, now see, I said, if he was an honorable man, he would have said, absolutely, we'll sign anything you would like, that we agree on right here, right now. But
look,
nope, he wouldn't.
See what Jake says about AJ trial was fake. You got that right. He ain't paying no money to nobody and shit, man. Listen, what that whole thing was, and they made a big deal about it, was so that they could scare away anybody that would dare question the narrative of such an event.
Right.
Such should one happen again. And we know that that's the case because even right here on this platform, YouTube, it's still up on Rumble. When a certain event happened down in Nashville, we dissected the body cam of the responding officers and found many, many, many discrepancies in that. And right in the middle of us doing that, YouTube shut us down. Right in the middle of doing that.
Well, I say that what a lot of what he was going through and the threats coming in, he once you get those kind of threats and whatnot,
right,
you start weighing your options very carefully.
Right.
So, I mean, I remember Alex Jones way, way back in the day, before he was even a household name, because he damn sure wasn't on YouTube. But it was before computer days. So, yeah, a lot of what the changes I saw, I think he did to save those in his family.
Yeah.
Because you don't get to always just be able to freely talk about some of the stuff he talks about. That's
no, but you notice that that he when he gets down to the bottom of it, and names culprits, it's always the globalists, or it's the Chi-coms, and it's never who it really is.
I say he changed a lot over the years.
I think he was actually, if I'm not mistaken, he was actually married into that tribe.
He might have been too.
He was his wife. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, what's this thing?
On Earth are they pushing the globe model? Here's the scoop. The globe is painted as this encompassing container of all known land. Now check this out. Ever heard of those no-fly zones? Picture this. There are certain areas near the Arctic and Antarctic circles where flying is a big no-no. Why, you ask? Well, the juicy bit is that there might just be some undiscovered lands there. Take Captain George Hubert Wilkins, a contemporary of Admiral Byrd, who boldly claimed to have flown a whopping 5,000 miles beyond Antarctica, stumbling upon lands and peoples we've never heard of. Sounds wild, right? But here's the kicker. Those lands are conveniently left out of all our maps. It makes you wonder why international pilots steer clear of these areas, because they don't want those lands to be discovered.
Wow. And like I said, man, they've got our maps in our Cartesian coordinate system, I'm going to say, is not accurate, and purposely not accurate, to further hide our realm. Absolutely. And so when these people come in and say, give me a map, go ahead, show me your map. What map you using, bro?
Right.
You know, I'm sure there's not a
They're
globe.
using GPS nowadays. They get a little tiny picture on their phone, thinks it's the whole world.
Yeah, that is their whole world. That is their whole world. But you know, if it wasn't for the people going up in the space station, I wouldn't have a cell phone or a TV or a computer. The fuck, man. You ever had people that say that dumb shit to you?
Remember the TVs you had to put a little bit of
On
foil
Earth are they
sometimes
pushing the
on it,
globe
or
model?
What?
wrap a coat hanger around it and get them to wiggle this way or that way to get reception.
Right?
You'd see people with all these strings of aluminum foil wrapped around it. They're antennas that stick up off the roof of your house. Had to go out there and turn it if it wasn't coming in good.
Oh my God, yes, yes.
Those were the days, right?
Listen, this was you hoped that it would be your brother that was picked to go up and move the rabbit ears on the TV.
And then
Because-
have to hold them to keep it going.
Yes, because you knew that was a possibility, right? If you could get it to come in on a good signal and be able to walk away, let go of the antenna. But as
Right.
long as you're holding on to that antenna, boy, that picture coming clear as hell, right? So that's where you stood. You had to watch Flipper from the side, you know. This is fucked up.
Yep.
That's traumatizing to a child, man. I loved Flipper. That was my show, man.
Yeah, we like Flipper too. That was one we did get to watch.
Hell yeah, man. That was a good show, man.
Yeah.
I love, you know, and I've always been somebody, I love animals, you know, that's just me. I love animals.
But these young people, though, they've basically come up in the younger people have come up in age of computers. So, you know, they're stuck on gaming, you know, figments of their imagination and whatnot, and all this computer stuff. So they have no knowledge of those days. So they don't think that those days existed. We had TV long before they had satellites, right? Or what they're calling satellites.
You mean satellites in space, right? Before that, they were called operators.
Satellite
Okay.
dishes.
And if you think about that, you remember if you wanted to make a long distance call, right? You'd call the operator. That operator would then dispatch from there to another operator who would then connect to another operator.
Yep.
And then finally to the connecting party.
Right.
So in a sense, each one of those operators was a satellite.
Yep.
I'm glad
Like
whoever that
phones.
was agreed. Was that your pup just made that noise?
Yes, he's barking. He's being a pain in the butt tonight.
It sounded
It's just
like
really
he was,
rowdy.
It sounded like he was going do when I said that.
Oh, he already has a pretty good bark already.
Oh yeah, he's gonna be
He's out
something
there
else.
huffing right now, though.
He's good putting antlers on him. He was like, "What are you doing to me?" I'm still gonna get back at you for this.
Yeah, those little antlers. Yeah, that made him adorable.
Look at this interesting bit of
Reindeer.
I ran across this interesting little bit of wordplay. Nickelodeon, Nick and Odin. What? Is there a connection here? Let's see if this guy's full of shit or not.
So I'm going to teach you how spelling works. Let's start with Latin. Ni means no. Nick means nothing. Nick hello means I eat nothing. And ni hello means I don't know. And Nick hello means I don't care. Now, Deo means God. Now, these words you can actually put all together and you get a phrase and it sounds something like Nickelodia or Nickelodia.
Nick, 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 Nickelodeon. Nick, 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 Nickelodeon.
They didn't even bother pronouncing the extra N at the end of Nickelodeon. But what does this word or phrase mean? Let's break it down. Nick elodeo. I eat nothing from God. Ni kalodeo means I don't know God. Or Nick kalodeo. I don't care about God.
Nick, 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 Nickelodeon.
Now, this phrase or spell, you can pronounce it however you like, because demons don't care about your accent or the extra consonants thrown in there. Nickelodeon, Nickelodeon, Nickelodeon doesn't really matter to them. This is how witchcraft and spelling works. Similar enough, works fine for them. People mispronounce my name all the time. Brian, Francis. You think the demons care? You think the demons are like, oh, listen, buddy, you said my name wrong. I'm not showing up to the party till you pronounce my name right. Demons don't care. Close enough, they're showing up. Now, do you think Nickelodeon named their company that by chance? Or just a weird, silly coincidence? And I know some of you in the comments will be like, no, Brian, Nickelodeon comes from that one movie theater in Boston in 1909 where they would show movies for a nickel, and then they just added the Odeon at the end that represented the music hall that was actually named after Odin, and nickel was actually named after Nike that got us a victory. So, nickel, victory, Odin. Odeon. Victory of Odin. Who is Odin again? Oh yeah, a hybrid Nephilim fallen angel god. I don't really think you can actually get your way around this one. Or do you think maybe it's possible that everything in the media has been spun to make you not believe in God and to make you forget about the fallen angel Nephilim gods that were worshipped and still today control this entire world? And they still control the world today through witches and sacrifices and rituals and murders and bad things to children. And see, now you might understand a little bit more why, when you type in SpongeBob's address from his license, it used to take you to Jeffrey Epstein's island. Oh, but that was probably just done by accident too, huh?
Wow.
Hey, you guys like my content or it's blessed you, please add me on
Didn't
Instagram
know
or
that
YouTube
one.
So that way I can continue to grow and provide more content like this for you guys. And it supports me, and that would be really awesome.
That's pretty rad, man.
Well, yes, I did know about breaking down words. I never broke down that one, but yeah. The compound words is how they started being able to create new meanings, definitions, and stuff. If you break down words, like the prefix, the word itself, and the suffix ending, when you start breaking down those compound words, you start seeing more of what he was talking about, how they created that word, and then what they took it from, what its original meaning is, to what it means, all ran together. Like people, I bet they've never actually looked up the word civil and saw all the different definitions for that particular word.
No. And here, yeah.
But if they did, they would be shocked at what the word civil means and all the definitions it has.
Let's see. I think I got a dictionary right here. Let's look it up. In the regular dictionary?
Yeah, just any dictionary online. And if you got the Merriam-Webster's, that's mostly what I use.
We got this big bad boy.
All right.
Here.
Yeah, look at
this
the
has
word
everything.
civil in that.
This thing has everything. So, civil. Here we are. Yeah, let's see.
They use the word and the term civilized and civilization and civil rights, and civil comes up a lot.
So it's let's see, pertaining to a citizen, one of a citizen or citizens, of a community of citizens, their government, or their interrelations, as civil affairs, civil service, civil war, suitable for a city dweller, not rustic, polite or urbane, civilized, not military, naval, or a class ecclesiastical, as civil law, civil marriage. Number 7, designing legally recognized divisions of time as a civil year. 8, of or according to Roman civil law or modern civil law. Number 9, in law relating to the private rights of individuals and to legal actions involving these distinguished from criminal, political, or civil action. Any suit or action at law other than a criminal prosecution. And then we got civil architecture, civil death. In law, deprivation of all civil rights as a result of being convicted of treason or sometimes of being declared an outlaw. That's called civil death. So I don't know. There's even more on
Quite
this.
interesting, huh?
God damn, it goes on and on and on and on until you get down to civilian.
Yeah.
Civil rights, civil marriage, civil list, civil service, then civilian, one who is skilled in civil or Roman law is a civilian. Any person not in military or naval service. Relating to or characteristic of civilians, non-military. This is a good freaking dictionary, man.
Yeah, it is. I like that one. That one's more exhaustive than the list I read.
Dorset Baber. It's a Webster's New Universal Unabridged Dictionary. I think I don't know what
Awesome.
the date on it is.
But you know, I mean,
a little bit.
like in that part where it mentioned the ecclesiastical, that's
1979.
That's biblical law.
This is 1979.
No, it was.
Here's the outline history of the English language in here too.
Yeah, breaking down words, looking up words, actually learning what they mean. And if you can't figure out what the definitions are, you're just easily, like if you don't know information like the word Nickelodeon, well, then you wouldn't actually be able to break it down and learn what is behind it. What made me sick is the fact that they put a known pedophile as the CEO of Nickelodeon.
Hell, they're all over. They're in our Congress. We put one as president. What the fuck?
Yeah.
We put one as president of the United States, for crying out loud. I mean, that's where we're at.
I mean, they're very bold.
They are. They are. They've gotten enough traction now to where they want to change it to where it's new sexual orientation.
Right.
Yeah.
You've also said that Congress is an Israeli-occupied territory. Now, what do you mean by that?
I said on the McLaughlin Group in response to a question, Jim, they said, do you think that the Congress of the United States will resist this demand for further aid? I said, throughout a crack I'd heard. I said, no, the Congress of the United States is Israeli-occupied territory. What I meant by that is the most powerful lobby in Washington, which Congress can't stand up to, one of the most powerful, is certainly the pro-Israeli lobby. It has gotten its way in this town year in and year out. And I don't think the automatic votes of the Congress of the United States for $3 and $4 billion worth of aid to Israel are necessarily in the national interest of the United States. And that comment, which is to ridicule the subservience of the Congress of the United States, is perfectly valid.
Do you believe there are members of the Congress of the United States who are voting the interest of Israel over the interest of the United States?
No, I think they're voting the interest of a powerful lobby, which they can't stand up to in many cases, one of many. They cave into lobbies all over this city. I think the Congress of the United States, where it's got brave men on both sides, is an institutional coward, and that when a powerful lobby can influence or defeat them back at home, and they can't get much support on the other side for a vote, many of them who will even tell you privately, I can't stand up to that kind of heat, they will vote for it.
But why have you singled out this particular, if you say there are many powerful lobbies?
Well, was a question was thrown to me on the McLaughlin Group about Israeli aid.
Mm-hmm.
Should I have talked about the National Rifle Association at that point?
No, but I mean, as you know, that are like, this is what William F. Buckley was talking about.
Yeah, and he's right. You know, every one of your congressmen has to sign a unconditional pledge to support Israel.
Yeah.
If they don't, they receive no support whatsoever. And you get ousted, all done. Are you drunk again, Nick? I'm not identifying myself to you freaks. We already know you're Nick Grewal. Harneet. Your mother would be ashamed of you, Harneet. You know? Harneet Growal. You weird motherfucker. Well, your dad busted his ass running a 7-Eleven to send your ass to college. You got to be ashamed of yourself. Selling all those fucking big bites and Slurpees and shit. Put your ass through college. And this is how you repay them. How much longer is a kilometer in the southern hemisphere? What do you mean, how much longer? How do you know that any of your distances are correct to begin with? Did you actually verify any of them at all? No? You didn't? Okay, then. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, we had some, I don't know what country they were from, but I do know that they don't actually own the store, but they pretend to be the owner of a store. But we had this one couple. They was running a little store. We ran them out of town because we stopped in there to pick up some stuff. It was close to where we were going to hang out. It was a very busy little place. The elderly people that had it before that, they passed away, and so those people supposedly bought it, but actually they're sent here to run those places, but actually a big corporation buys them up and then puts these families out here to run them. And we did a bunch of shopping. One of the kids needed to go pee, and so we asked to use their bathroom, and they say, no public bathrooms. So we set everything back on the counter and told them no more shopping, and we all walked out. They didn't last very long because people weren't used to that, you know. That elderly couple that had it before that, they were amazing people, you know.
So I always say, I got to show you this, man. I always say, okay, I got all the guns I need, right? I've got all kinds of really cool guns.
Yeah.
And then I saw this shotgun. And I'm like, oh, I need this. This thing is so cool. Watch this thing. This thing is awesome. It's got a bullpup design. You'll see. Watch, it's pretty cool. You rotate those tubes.
All right. A shotgun, man. I'd love to have one of those.
Right? So your tube's empty and you just rotate the tube and you're full again, man. So you got like 3 times your firepower, little compact design.
A little mini multi-firing bazooka.
Yeah, man, and it's got that you got pretty much a full-size shotgun because it's in a bullpup design, right? If you look, see your action is right back here.
Right.
Your trigger's up front. So this is what would normally be happening here. You've got room enough to roll your barrel back to this point instead of it being up here at this point and sticking out further, right?
Right.
You can't see my cursor. But see, because it pushes the barrel back and the bolt you can see is like behind the trigger, like almost in the stock. So that gives you that bullpup. I have a 12 gauge that's a magazine fed, right? But you've got, I think, 5-round and 9-round magazines. I've got 5-round and 9-round magazines that go to it. That would even be better because they're in the tube. You just rotate those tubes.
Right.
Right.
That was cool though.
I think that is a cool design. I bet you they're high price right now. They'll come down though.
Anybody I went shooting with don't like shooting with me.
Why? You outshoot them?
I've missed twice in my life with the shotguns and rifles.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But only because I think, when we were kids, we'd take the BB gun down to the creek behind the house. Somebody'd go way upstream and throw a bunch of leaves in the water, and we'd be downstream. And then when they come floating by, you had to see how many you could pop as fast as you could, with the BB gun. And we just got really good at, target practice, playing that way, shooting leaves in the water. I mean, it was a fun thing to do every afternoon.
Yep. That'd be great. Kids just don't do shit these days.
But my favorite is
they like that. They're not allowed to.
I know.
They've been steadily making people more and more afraid of the shit over each generation.
And look,
make them afraid of guns and shit. When I was in high school, yeah, I mean, there was a lot of guys in my high school, they'd roll up to school in their pickup truck and they had a rifle rack with, shotgun and a rifle hanging back there. Nobody, no problem. Right. And here we are in the 21st century and people even see a gun. It's not so bad around here. But like I go into the city and I'm wearing, if I'm open carry and, I get some looks.
I think a lot of it is the difference because, like, when we were kids, our grandparents, uncles, our dad didn't have one. That's because of his wife. But prior to her, and with my grandparents and aunts, uncles, cousins, everybody had one, And we were taught when we were young how to respect them, and we weren't allowed to touch them, and we had to be with one of the adults if we were. And we were taught gun safety. And it's a hell of a lot better than this stupid gun safety bullshit they're teaching kids today. I've seen some very careless kids that have come out of those classes. They don't know how to handle it. Oh, well, it's not loaded. I don't give a shit. You still handle it as if it was. My sister's kids are really bad. They like to go hunting and stuff, but they'll say, oh, it's empty. Well, I know people that have been shot thinking the thing was empty too.
Yeah. You just don't fuck around, man.
Right. Treat it with respect at all times.
Like, yeah, you always. That's, and I've got, I grew up around guns. Right. And so, this was instilled in me at a young age. And I've been like that with my grandson and, of course, with my own kids. And, don't be afraid of them.
Right.
There's no reason to be afraid of them, none whatsoever. Be careful. There's a lot of things. You got to be careful with an automobile, too.
Right.
Exactly. You can't.
Exactly.
So, yeah, you want to put at least that much care into handling a firearm as you would and I'm not going to say firearm, I'm going to say gun.
Right.
You should at least put as much care into handling a gun as you would into using an automobile.
Right.
Yeah,
you wouldn't go with or without a license. It doesn't matter. You still drive because you're looking out not only for your own life, but everybody else is on the road around you.
Absolutely right.
Going through a school zone, even without a license, would it be smart to go through one at 100 miles an hour? No, it's not common sense.
No.
But yeah, I mean, I do think that was a cool gun, though. That was awesome. But I like shotguns, so.
Yeah, I got a Remington 887 and it's this Turkish model. It's a forget what the hell. I'm trying to remember it comes from Turkey, and it's a bullpup magazine fed 12 gauge shotgun. What is this guy doing? He's gonna fucking crash or something? No, I don't know. Anyway, I'm gonna probably wrap this up for tonight. Here, we had a good little broadcast here, I think.
Yeah, we got
What do you
some
think?
stuff covered.
We're almost, it's the winter solstice. It's the winter solstice. I feel like I should be doing some kind of a paganistic ritual around a fire or something. I don't know. What do you think? Should I start a fire out in the backyard and do a naked moon dance around it or some kind of shit like that?
Your neighbors might not be too excited.
Oh, it reminds me. I was talking to my
But
neighbor.
I do miss having big bonfires. I used to live out in the country in Texas, and we'd have big bonfires out in the driveway. A lot of fun.
I was talking to my neighbor this afternoon. Leanne had made an egg apron for the little girl,
Yeah.
Elena, and to be able to collect eggs out there. They have chickens, right?
Yeah.
And we got to talking about that, and she said that these the state and the government's trying to step in and regulate people that have their own chickens and shit, and telling them that what they have to feed the chickens and that they can't feed them this and can't feed them that.
What?
Yeah. And what it is the chickens aren't laying because they're not getting any protein, right?
Yeah.
Chickens are not vegetarians.
Right.
Okay, they aren't. They'll eat a mouse. I've seen them do it.
They'll eat
And-
mice, they'll eat snakes, they'll eat worms, they'll eat any kind of bug, spider, you name it.
Yep, damn straight, right? And they're trying to make it so that they can only feed their chickens only vegetarian shit. And I'm like, who in the fuck is gonna enforce this?
I never go out there and tell the chicken they can't eat the worms
Right.
that come up in the compost pile.
Yeah, Threshless said they'll eat chicken. No shit, they will. If one of the chickens dies in a chicken house, chickens will start eating that fucking thing.
Yeah.
And
Well, I know people will feed them their own eggs. I won't feed mine their own eggs, but the reason why a chicken will eat their own eggs is if it breaks or something,
Yeah.
that smell can attract other predators in, so they eat it all up and clean it all up so that it doesn't leave a smell or scent behind. So there's a reason why they do, but I don't think it's good to just, scramble their eggs and give it back to them or give it back to them raw. I just don't agree with that.
So,
Let them eat the bugs.
Look at Nick's latest fucking comment. You guys are really antisocial, aren't you? As the guy who's come
Because
in
we ain't
here.
giving him any attention.
Yeah, he's the one who's come in here and been the most antisocial motherfucker in the whole chat tonight. Oh my God. Come on, Hareen.
But so they're coming in and telling your neighbors this?
There's like a Facebook group,
Oh,
right?
okay, gotcha.
And now the states are wanting to come in because these people, like, they're growing their own eggs, and they'll sell like a dozen to their neighbor and shit like
Right.
that. And now the state's wanting to jump in and say, you can't do that, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, come on over here and tell me I can't fucking do it. I want to see you enforce that shit, because it's going to end up in a problem for you. I'll guarantee it. I'm not going to listen. I am not going to listen to your dumb shit. You are not going to tell me what I can and cannot do in my life or in my house or any other fucking thing. I don't have a problem with your authority. I'm denying your authority's existence. Okay, I don't see you as having any fucking authority over me.
Right.
So that's how we all got to be, man.
Yes, and I wish more and more people, and I do hope more and more people stand up and start thinking that way. I really do.
Ain't nobody
You're
got
not the boss of me. You'll hear that out of a little kid's mouth when another little kid starts bossing them around. You're not the boss of me. Or somebody else's dad or mom says something to them, they'll go, you're not my boss. You're not my mom. You're not my dad. I mean, if kids know it, adults should be able to say it too. You're not the boss of me.
Dark Wizard packs? I don't know what Dark Wizard packs. I'm not familiar with what you're talking about. Enlighten me. You sell eggs sometimes. Sovereign. Do I sell eggs sometimes? I'm unable to lay eggs. So no.
Do you lay eggs?
No, I certainly don't. I don't know why. You want to buy some eggs? Let me know.
I have chickens, but I don't sell their eggs.
I can hook you up, girl.
I only have 4 right now, a little rooster, 2 little white silkies, and another little hen.
I mean, I don't have any eggs to sell right now, but like I know a guy, so
Yeah.
like let me know.
I
I'm
used
talking
to.
to M-Ball there.
People would stop at my house. I gave my eggs away for free. I'd just go out and collect them all up because my neighbors, they gave me their chickens. They didn't want them. And then I had a bunch. So I tell my neighbors, don't buy eggs at the store. Stop by. And I mean, I always had more than enough for my family and probably about 6 other families. They'd stop by and get eggs and whatnot, But we all just traded things like that. If they had stuff coming out of their garden, they'd drop me a box off at my house. So, we didn't sit and charge anybody or have a sale, on any of our stuff. We just gave it and traded it all the time. I miss those days.
You really limited mind, M-Ball. Your mind is really a limited thing. I mean, it really is. I was relating it to the egg selling, M-Ball. See, this is the problem. This is why what a fucking retard. This is why you think you live on a ball, man. It is. This is why you fight tooth and nail to think you live on a fucking ball. You have no ability to think or extrapolate or anything. I don't know how you even exist. I really don't. I find it hard to understand how you can even.
That's what gets us in so much trouble is people go, oh, we need rules for this and we need laws for that, and I mean, it gets disgusting hearing grown adults say we need a rule or a law or that for something.
How about just control your fucking self?
Exactly.
God. That's the thing. Just control your fucking self. Just because you write something down on a piece of paper don't mean somebody's going to listen to it.
Right. Govern your own behavior.
I mean, what's that?
I mean, if you think you want to sit there and spoon feed your damn chickens, then you sit and spoon feed them. But don't tell everybody else they got to spoon feed the damn things.
Right.
My chickens would get actually pretty pissy with me if I tried to spoon feed them.
Well, it's like, you're supposed to keep mice from eating a mouse or something like that too. They're going to be mice and getting in there to get into the chicken feed. It's inevitable.
Oh,
it's
I
going
love
to
my
happen.
chickens.
And not to mention they need that protein in order to lay eggs.
Yep. And they feed their babies lots of bugs as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
I really loved them chickens there in Texas because we'd get snakes, little baby snakes, and we had the little gravel rattlers even there where I lived in our area. But the little baby snakes, I saw them eat so many baby snakes that first summer that I had them. I was like, thank God, because that just meant that was less to grow up and get big. I hate snakes. But yeah, it was incredible. The first time I saw it, I was like, oh, dang, you can choke on that. But they didn't. And mice, good little mousers.
Check this out.
Boom, boom. God damn it, boom, boom. You can't be inside the house. It's dangerous. I know, baby.
Oh my
Come on. Here. Let's follow me. I know, baby. Yes. Let me get this chair. Come on, it's okay. Let me just move the chair. No, just let me move the chair. It's okay. Shh. Let me just move the chair out of the way. Okay, no. No, not this way. Come on. Here, let me grab my gloves and glasses. Let's go back outside. Come on.
Oh my goodness.
Come on, Boom Boom. Boom Boom, come here.
That fucking thing, man. Can you imagine that thing being in your house?
That'd be like having a big Brahma bull, only a little bit more dangerous.
God.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah, that would scare the hell out of me, man.
Yeah, if those things can get pretty rambunctious. They can put a hole right plumb through the house wall. Oh, Bison Timbers. I watch that sometimes. Got Big Joe and Dunbar on there. They raise buffalo. I think they're in Oklahoma, something like that.
What the fuck?
But yeah, they had one come over the fence at them.
God. No, I don't need any of that, man. No.
I do think that they're beautiful animals, though.
I love animals. I do. I mean, you got to stay within your limit and you can enjoy it. There's a lot of them. You'll scare the piss out of them, so you have to, you don't want to do that. So you want to kind of keep your distance, but you can still appreciate them. And they recognize and feel that appreciation. I know
Yes.
they do.
Yes,
They absolutely do. I've experimented with that and found it to be absolutely true. What is this?
Yeah. I say if you respect their space and whatnot, they're fine. I had little skunkies coming up in my backyard, and my daughter was over one day, my younger daughter, and we were sitting out there, and I told her, be really still, the little skunk's right over there. And she goes, what little skunk? And I said, see, right over there. I mean, it got within like 6 inches of her. And I'm like, hey, little skunky, be careful, I kept talking to it. We kept talking. And I said, I don't think it sees you. So I told her, just sit really still and don't move around. But it got like 6 inches from her foot. And then I think it finally smelled her. But I went and got some dog food and tossed it over to the side and got him to walk away. But I'm not afraid of animals. I've never been sprayed by a skunk or bit by anything. We used to have possums in our yard, little armadillos. I get along with animals better than people.
Oh my God, come on. What is this? The telescope's high-resolution image also shows Uranus's faint inner and outer rings, as well as one closest to the planet, the elusive Zeta ring, NASA said. The images also capture the planet's 27 known moons and a few smaller moons within the rings. So there's the rings around Uranus.
They should be wiping.
That's called hemorrhoids. Okay. Your butthole's prolapsing, that's all. You'll be okay. Don't worry about your butthole prolapsing. You'll be all right. So, all right. Well, I'm going to cut this out. It's been going 3.5 hours. We got to watch these marathon streams, man. We had a good night. We had some cool people on here. A lot of people in the chat tonight. But I was hoping some people might come up on panel, maybe discuss some of their questions on that. Perhaps Mr. BBBBBBB. And some of the other people, that have just recently found this channel, that would be great. You don't have to say goodbye to yourself, Nick. Nick's butt hurt because he got drunk and came on here and acted like a fucking idiot, challenging me to a fight, gonna fly out and all this other dumb shit. And then got further butt hurt because I went up there and made fun of him for not actually doing it like a big fucking idiot that he is. Probably going to tomorrow afternoon work on cutting pieces of that stream up to make just a kind of mashup video of all his ridiculous stuff that he was doing on there.
Yeah, that'd be funny.
Oh my God. Yeah. Nut Huff's videos put out one too that was pretty funny about it, where he claimed that where he was claiming his kids were killed in the Holocaust.
I'll tell you, I mean, you would just think that would be so embarrassing, you know, he wouldn't want to show his face anymore, but some people just can't help themselves.
No, they're just gonna go with it in every pipe, in every aspect. But that's the whole thing, you know. I mean, these people are just smoking fucking crack and believing in balls out there or something, man. Because I can't see that once the information has been keep safe from the dark wizard packs. Yeah, I'll try, Pie. Thanks, man. I'll be smoking a dark wizard pack, a real one. All right then. Holocaust, cool story. Yeah, man. Burnt offering. Fuck off, Nick. Have a shitty, lonely, drunk Christmas, you sorry sack of shit. Oh man, that was chaos. Chaos KO, man. That's fucked up, man. All right. Well, Dreamy, you got to leave anybody with anything before we go?
Just have a happy week and enjoy your Christmas and your holidays or whatever you celebrate, your family.
Yeah, man.
And much love to everybody, and to you and your little fur babies.
Oh yeah.
A whole pack of them.
Got a whole pack in this fucking thing, boy. I'll tell you what. Yep. All right. Well, we're going to cut it out here. I want to thank everybody for showing up tonight. We'll probably be on again tomorrow night. Same time, same bat channel. Doing our little thing. And hope Santa doesn't take the Zaza. All right. Cool. Santa's not real. Saints and Satan. So, as we like to say on here every time, the Lord loves a working man. Don't trust Whitey, and see your doctor and fire him because he'll probably kill you. Good night, everybody.